Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Roth. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Guys are out.
Sports 910.
Well, it's a Thursday. That means we're out at a Twin Peaks here in the Valley of the Sun. Today it's the Tempe Twin Peaks. Of course, there are 3 other locations, Camelback, Glendale, and in Scottsdale. And Deer Valley is coming soon. So soon there will be 5 Twin Peaks. And we're here thanks to our friends at Blue Moon and Coors Light, because that is our big special today. Get ready for tonight's Thursday night game between the Colts and the Broncos. $6 man-size Blue Moons, $5.75 man-size Coors Lights. Those are the 22-ounce big ones that you see here at Twin Peaks. We'll tell you all about that as we embarked on another afternoon of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. I'm Roc. We got Manuch. We got Jimmy B. We also have what's Jax? Jax, the new guy.
House. Yeah,
he's
intern boy.
I just the
Rook.
Yeah,
the Rook. He's beyond intern. He's a rookie.
He was never. I don't know. He actually tagged himself as the intern.
Yeah.
No, he was never hired as the intern. He was hired as part of the team.
Yeah.
He's off double secret probation.
But there's a problem that I have with him, and that's our dress code.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't understand why he wears this corny San Francisco Giants hat all the time.
That might be his team, Rock. It
doesn't matter.
Baseball season's technically
22
over.
years old.
Yeah, well,
and it's one of those flat bill hats, which is just I don't get that. When did that ever go in style?
Amen, Rock. I cannot stand that flat bill.
They're so stupid.
What about a regular hat? And please wear it the proper way. I mean, don't turn that bad boy
He's
around.
got it on back. I wear mine backwards all the time.
It's
Do you
improper.
really?
Yeah,
really? Yeah.
Especially when I'm playing tennis.
Okay, now there's a certain age where you don't wear your hat backwards. Okay,
Yeah,
I haven't reached it
Jimmy
yet.
B's age.
No, I haven't. reached
whatever that may be.
I haven't reached it yet.
I mean, seriously.
The decorum of a guy that's plus 60 to wear their hat backwards. Are we trying to be a hipster now?
No,
What's
man.
up, Brock? Let's go, man.
No, my brother. That's just me.
Well, we are out here at Twin Peaks. We'll tell you more about breast cancer awareness and education here at Twin Peaks. Something that they do quite a bit of promotion, and you have an opportunity to make some donations at all 4 locations. So we'll dive into that throughout the afternoon. It's something that the entire Twin Peaks restaurants have been doing throughout the United States. So we'll jump on that and tell you more about that as we get going here this afternoon. Here's what's on tap this afternoon, that is, from the Tempe Twin Peaks. We will get into some talk regarding the opposing team coming into Phoenix, and that being the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about that, get into some sound with the Eagles as well as the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to talk about the NFC West with Tyler Dragon.
Tyler
Dragon, who is part of the USA Today network. So we will talk to him about the NFC West. It's National Coaches Day, so we're going to have some fun and ask you who is your favorite coach of all time, any sport. That's just hour 1. Hour 2, we will dive into our conversation with the play-by-play voice of the Oregon Ducks, because Arizona is hosting them, and we'll take Jerry Allen back in time as he's been there 36 years as the play-by voice of the Ducks. And I want him to take me down back to the Pac-12 championship a few years ago when they did play Arizona, as it was probably one of the most important games that Oregon has ever had in their history. So we'll discuss that with a quarterback by the name of Marcus Mariota, who had a hell of a game. So we'll get into that. We also will catch up with Howard Balzer, the latest on the Cardinals. We'll have that. That's on tap. And then, who let the dogs out? I mean, seriously. Are you guys going to even participate this year?
Okay.
I'm attempting, but you're running away with it.
Rock, you're on a roll, man.
This isn't even fun if I have no competition.
Well, we're doing our best. We are.
You're really
I'm
not.
our best guess as to, what are you, 4-0 now? As I already saw 4-0.
He is.
I'm 2-2. Jax, you're 0 for? 0 for, yeah, you're 0 for. Jimmy,
suck.
how are you now?
I have 1 win. I suck.
1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be Rock's line to Vegas or something
I
like
think
that.
Ben is 3-1, but we gave him Richie, so he's really
Yeah.
he really only has 2 wins on the year.
Yeah, that was the handicap last year. Richie did that for him.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's get into what some of the top stories are this hour.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
It's got to be Messi. Announcing today that
Start right now.
2022 World
Soccer,
Cup
let's
is
go,
his
baby.
last. I mean, right? Wouldn't that be the big
Sure,
story
man.
of
It's
the
been all over the
afternoon?
place here at Twin Peaks.
It's
all
a
the
football
TV.
Thursday.
I think if you asked people in this particular
Establishment?
refreshment stand,
Yes.
who Messi is, they're going to say, "What? Somebody made a mess?"
It could be, or if you said
They're not
anybody,
gonna know.
I do think they would know.
Oh, yeah, he would.
Was he
Messi.
my- was he
There's
my-
3 or 4 guys
Was
that
he
you
my
know.
car salesman? I don't think so.
Messi.
Hey, get the laugh button ready today because I think Jimmy's going to be on a roll.
You meant football, not football.
Football.
Yeah, not football.
Yes.
But yeah.
No, but we got to give some love.
Sure.
We're not going to be talking about any more Diamondback losses when it comes to
Thank
being
God.
up in the 6th or 7th inning, and they bring in their bullpen. As last night they close out their season with a 4-2 win, a
They
comeback win in
Yep.
Milwaukee against the Brewers, and it was a interesting season for the Snakes. They go 74-88. It's their 3rd straight losing season. But as we talk about quite a bit on this show, mediocrity is okay in this city. So you're not going to see the manager being fired.
Well, it's okay with the owner. Obviously, it's not okay with the city. City doesn't.
I think it is because if the city was against,
What are they going to do? Boycott the games?
just
What
have
are
a
they-
voice.
Well, they do.
if
Rock.
they do not. When any radio station in this market, no one takes phone calls, so you don't hear it. You're on Twitter. You don't see people blasting the Diamondbacks on
Well,
Twitter.
nobody shows
It-
up to the games. That's their
People
side
are
of protest.
showing up to the game.
Not many,
Yes, they
Rock.
are.
Not-
It is what it is here always. Attendance, they're not going to sell out games. This isn't St. Louis.
What are folks going to be able to do? They want to see
They
a
need
team.
to bitch and they need to moan about the ownership.
It
They
falls-
need to let people know above us that, hey, there needs to be some changes with this Diamondbacks team. We're tired of seeing this.
It falls on deaf
Loss
ears.
after
Ken-
loss after loss.
Ken Kendrick, it falls on deaf ears. He's not going to want to spend the money to go get individuals. Now that I think that he realizes, hey, we were pretty damn close. If our bullpen would have held their weight, at least for 50, let's say for 25 of the 50 games, that they might have been in the hunt for the wild card.
Exactly. The bullpen just killed them all
So
year
I
long.
think when you see that, you go, okay. Now, if he wants to continue not to spend and suffer an effigy in mediocrity, fans can't do anything, Rock. We want to see some money
Fans
spent.
can do a lot, Manuch. They can do a lot. They can not watch games. To your point, not go to games, which affects the bottom dollar. If any other city, you're hearing it. You're hearing it on radio. You're seeing it on social media. You're seeing it everywhere when there is a fan base that's upset with their team, their home team.
I don't think Ken
We
Kendrick
just don't
cares.
see that here.
I don't think he cares, Rock. I really don't. He's going to make his money no matter what. He's already made his money. He's got it in the bank. And I would agree with you. I think if the fans don't show up or they bitch and moan and whatever, that Ken Kendrick's going to go, okay, we're going to give you guys good prices on product. We're going to give you good prices on tickets and concessions, and we'll just kind of go from there. If we catch lightning in a bottle, we catch lightning in a bottle. If we turn out to be like with the in reference to all the things that this Oakland A's team is doing, and we can play Billy Bean budget ball or something like that,
like the A's do.
then so be it. I really look at this until they can put the money into it on a consistent basis. Will they ever be a team that's going to be number one, a team viable for the playoffs?
Manuch, I'm going to drop this on you, and you know it far better than I do because you've lived here in the Valley longer than me. But when you go to the games, nobody wears, for the most part, a Diamondbacks jersey. It's always the other team. You go for the Dodgers. The Dodger fans sell out. The Giants fans show up. It doesn't matter. The Pittsburgh Pirate fans show up. It doesn't matter.
I don't-
And Lord knows, if the Chicago Cubs are in town, you can't get a ticket. So
3 minutes.
they're all Cubs fans. That's why he doesn't care. That's it.
Well, yeah,
He's
I think he
making his.
cares.
But he won't go what you want him to do, Rock. He's not going to
Spend the
go
extra
that,
buck.
that extra
No,
mile.
he's not going to spend the extra
He's
buck
not going to do that.
to go. Now, he sees something like Mad Bum backfire on him.
Yes, it did.
So I'm sure he might be a little.
That's going to happen.
That's going to happen, purely. But I think he's a little
I don't-
leery sometimes. But I mean, if guys come in here and you put a good squad together, mix some veterans with the young guys, get a good solid rotation and bullpen, you got a chance.
I just don't see how you don't think the fans have some say in the success of this team.
Rock, this 3 years. If people have been bitching and moaning for how many more years can they do it?
They haven't been, is my point.
Well, they haven't shown up the games, have they? And they've been minimal games, and you see them, like Jimmy
I'm just
said.
saying we don't live in a city with a fan base that goes berserk when
Correct.
their team consistently loses.
Well, I would say this.
2 minutes.
And I don't think how do you not see that? It's so quiet.
I see it,
because people are tired of it. They are leery of mediocrity. But they're what's the term you always you look at? You're leery of mediocrity, and it's always there's nothing. They feel hopeless, Rock. That there's nothing they can do to turn this thing around.
I think the voice of the pen, the voice of social media can make some changes to an ownership because you're not hiding from it. It's not like you're not hearing it. You're hearing the noise.
Oh, sure you are.
You got to be hearing the noise. However, the noise is just not loud enough right now.
But I don't think you can.
I just don't know how do you not fire Torrey?
That's one of the things where they feel he must be the guy. Well, put it this way.
Or they're
What do
like,
you-
okay, he's the guy that can just mentor these baby backs every single year, and we're just going to be patient. Or they're going to this plan. Or do you make a move with Hazen? I don't know. I think as fans that spend a lot of money to go to games and watch games or whatever, you want to see at least some effort.
If he's going to change out the manager and he's going to change out the general manager with new voices, I think it still starts at the top where you're going to give that GM or that manager to work with. You can't.
Supposedly he's going to have more money. Hazen's going to have more money to play with this year. Let's see if that's the case.
Then go use it.
Get a couple free agents. I mean, you've seen with the Cardinals, okay, the Arizona Cardinals, that is, switching gears a little bit here because we're going to get ready to talk about them, is the fact that they haven't been able to do it in the draft.
No.
Keimer struck out in the draft in
Man.
most cases, all right? But he's done a tremendous job of picking up some guys in trades.
Yes.
And just in free agencies, the J.J. Watts and the D-Hops. I mean, we could go on and on the guys that they've had some success with, but they have not had success with is in the draft. It's been a long time,
Especially
a wide receiver.
Especially you waive a guy that you picked in the second round 4 years ago, and you actually waive, you don't get anything for him in Andy Isabella, which got picked up by the Ravens. I saw that.
Yep.
That was a bad move.
I thought he was going to Cleveland.
He's lucky to get picked up.
Philly.
He had such a
I
good.
don't think so. He had a good preseason.
He did have a good. I was going to say he had a very good preseason.
I bet he has some success.
I bet he
because
does too.
I think you can't train work ethic, right? And that's what you kept hearing from
yeah.
Cliff and from
Works
other
hard.
folks that he works hard.
Yep.
First one in, last one out type of mentality. But he's a skilled player.
He's fast. He catches the ball.
I just don't understand with a team that's so short on receivers that you let the guy go.
It's because
Wesley
came back.
Yeah.
I understand
And
that.
AJ Green's going to be okay this week. So the room got crowded.
Break.
But with Wesley coming back, that's going to be the common denominator to replace him.
We'll hear from Murray facing Philadelphia and the OU connection with Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. By the way, we are out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. Of course, thanks to our friends at Blue Moon and Coors Light. Each and every Thursday, take advantage of the man-sized draft specials. $6 22-ounce Blue Moons or $5.75 Coors Light man-sized drafts. Those are the 22-ounce big ones, the cold ones that are under 30 degrees. You can check that out here at Twin Peaks. And don't forget, we're giving away that huge customized backyard patio grill set. All you got to do is text PEAKS to 55678. That's PEAKS to 55678. We'll continue on. It's Fox Sports 910.
Justin Meant for mornings. The Drive with Jody Ayler. Listen tomorrow.
Started off slow this season. Entering the second quarter of the season, I think it's a great opportunity. Got a great team coming in.
You guys are hot.
The best, you got to beat the best. This is an opportunity for us.
Kyler Murray talking about facing the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. Thanks to the Cardinals for that sound, as Kyler Murray versus Jalen Hurts. And Manuch, you feel that there's some similarities between these two, huh?
Yeah, I really do. I think that they both run the RPO and the spread. Their offenses, quite frankly, guys, are very similar as well, too. They both can get on the perimeter, hurt you with their feet. I think Jalen Hurts has really grown up as far as passing and throwing the ball, but there's so many things he can do, his poise. And last year, I mean, he almost beat the Cardinals here at Cardinal Stadium in reference to coming in as a young guy. And if there's a couple throws I recollect that got away from him, otherwise they might have beat the Cardinals last year. So I just like that the way they both move, the way they both throw, and it hurts a little bit bigger, a little taller. He's probably about 6'1" or 6'2".
That's all.
And strong arm, but he really understands the game as a young quarterback. When you see the Justin Herberts and the Jalen Hurts of the world, and that's what you see. Just they both can run. They got a lot of juice, a lot of energy. And both got very, very strong arms, powerful arms, both accurate. So both OU quarterbacks on the field going against each other this Sunday.
It's good to know. They didn't play last year, Manuch.
I thought they played.
No, they didn't play last year.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Troy. I'm thinking about Lance last year.
Okay,
With-
I'm
with
fun.
San
I'm like, was I at that game? Did
No,
I drink
no,
too
I'm sorry.
much? Did I have too many Coors Lights that I don't remember being at an Eagles game last year?
No,
I'm sitting there looking at it while you're talking here.
But I think
Here's Kyler Murray talking about he's three touchdowns from a career 100.
I mean, I don't really look at much of the stats, but I mean, I'm just trying to win, to be honest. That's but if we're scoring touchdowns, we're winning. So I think that's kind of goes hand in hand.
if they're scoring touchdowns and they put them in the right position, they can win. We've seen them score touchdowns before, but they've had to play the catch-up game because of their defense. They can just score touchdowns early and often. That will put them out in front. And from that standpoint of winning, when you're at 2-2, I think that's been the key factor for them in the second half of the Vegas game, the second half of last week's game against Carolina. But you can look up and go, wow, he's 3 behind 100 touchdown passes in his 4 years so far. You forget some of those big games he had his rookie year. 4 touchdowns here, 3 there. Because I think sometimes what kind of is a little bit of the what washes a lot of his passing is just how well he runs. You watch him run, people think, guy's such a good runner. You forget how good of a passer, how he can throw the football on top of that.
He throws a great ball. There's no question about that. But I think what
throws
gets
a great deep ball too.
Yes, he does. I think what gets lost, and you referenced the running, but I think even worse, and why people don't look at him like that is because of the collapses that have taken place in the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, the attention goes to, well, why did you collapse and why is the team playing so poorly, instead of, well, Kyler Murray's been lighting it up. But I think the collapses have overshadowed many things that he has done.
And on top of that, Jimmy is playing catch up a lot of
Correct.
times.
Yes, he is playing catch up.
Aside from last year, they were 7-0, and that passing game was lighting it up.
Yes.
And so when they got into their funk last year, losing 5 out of the last 6, including the playoff game, they get behind. All of a sudden, he's throwing touchdown passes, and those are basically get back into the game.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when you lose 5 out of those 6, then it was 6 out of 7, people go, all he did was playing catch up. All of a sudden, you look up and go, man, he's almost got 100 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
How did that happen when you see him helter-skelter most of the time, too?
You know, during our pre-show 2-hour prep meeting, we talked about how important the tight ends were going to be. And I thought it was important to hear from Kyler in regards to Zach Ertz.
He's I don't want to say emotional. You know, tight ends just want the ball a lot. Like they get sensitive if they don't get the ball. You can watch him on Sundays if he's open, he doesn't get the ball. He's throwing his arms down and doing all the the theatrics and stuff like that. But he has a good reason. Most of the time he's open, so that's fine. I'm good with it.
Hey, and
And
they're-
find him more than if he's
Yeah.
open.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
We don't
just gonna
say that.
Then
If he's
Reed-
open, then
you better throw it to him.
Yeah.
get it to him.
My question be Kyler making the right reads if he's
Yeah.
open, if he's that guy. Yeah,
They're
this-
not in his homework. I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
well,
hey, here's the thing. People say, how does Cooper Kupp get open all the time? Because Stafford is not afraid
He's
to
looking
throw him
for
the
him,
ball.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
looking for him.
Sure.
Well, if
but he's looking for him a little bit too much.
Well, that,
I mean,
that
right?
could
I
be
mean,
the
you can
case.
make a case that Stafford is struggling this year because that's all he's doing
That-
is going to him.
that
because
that
that's all
is-
he really has.
Has.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
he does. But Ertz, if he's open, man, I'd be just chucking it until they adjusted
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
to take that
Well,
away from.
And that's why, guys, I think this is going to be such a big game when you take on this Eagles defense. I mean, first and foremost, you can run on this team. They're averaging, I think, 4.5 to 5 yards. They're giving up as far as run defense is concerned. So you can run, but with that defense and the way they bring the heat, you got Hassan Reddick coming off the edge.
Right.
Williams, McBride, and Ertz are going to be huge parts of it. So getting the ball out, getting away from that pass rush, and getting the ball out quickly are going to become a vital part. And then, here's Ertz, play against his old team. Going to want to really, shine out against his old team.
And speaking of his old team, so Jalen Hurts is in a presser yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was about 10 minutes, 11, 12 minutes. And he was not getting asked about the Cardinals at all. In that the media is not even questioning. They're not even really thinking that this is going to be much of a game. But Hurts basically had to lecture the media over the lack of questions regarding the opposing team.
3 minutes.
And said that let's not set the precedent for that. And that this media there in Philadelphia is pretty confident that their team's going to come into Phoenix and, not so fast. You got to play the game. Let's see what happens. But anyway, here's some sound from 2 days ago in regarding Hurts as he tries to keep the same mindset for each and every week.
I actually thought about that. It's probably be a little weird for him, maybe. I don't know. He had such a great career there. To go against him for the first time since being traded, probably have some emotions. I'm sure. He's an emotional guy.
That was actually Murray talking about Hurts.
Yeah.
But here's Hurts talking about his mindset.
I really try and keep the same mindset and mentality with everything. Try and be consistent with that. Really be diligent with it. Enjoy everything that comes with it, but also stay true to who I am.
2 minutes.
Stay true to my goals. Stay true to what I am and what I want to be for this team. And really in all of that, keeping God in the center. That's what matters the most. Not any attention, not any notoriety or anything like that. Just doing this and striving for God's purpose for me.
Yeah, and I
Pretty
think,
low key.
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
but
he's extremely.
But I think the one thing you hear with that young man is he keeps in perspective.
He does.
He knows anybody. If you take anybody lightly, you come into State Farm, you take the Cardinals lightly. You say, hey, look, guys, I keep in perspective. I work hard. I keep mind my P's and Q's each and every week. But this is just really hard to keep everything in perspective. He's saying that's a damn good team over there. That's a good team over there, and just continue to work hard and try to be the best team. 4-0, the only team in the National Football League is still 4-0. Quite frankly, if KC doesn't have the hiccup against the Colts, they'd be the other 4-0 team.
It's interesting because this team is Roc's team. I mean, he's an Eagles guy through and through. So are you going to go to the game? Are you going to be there?
No, I'm going to a Trump rally instead.
Oh, God.
I think you should go to the Eagle game. It'll be a lot
Are you
more.
serious?
I can see the Eagles
You'll go
anytime.
see
But
a buffoon instead of going to
No,
the
I'm gonna see
NFL.
no, you don't want me to go down that road.
Oh,
He
God.
can-
I get to meet him, and I'm pretty excited about meeting the president.
man.
I would want to meet Biden too. I mean,
I
if he
would
was
too.
here too. So
I'd shake his
you to
hand.
call a former president buffoon is a little disrespectful. But anyway, that's your choice.
It is.
To get back to the football game,
Yeah,
I can
let's
always
do that.
tape it.
You asked me a question. I gave you the answer.
Now I know he's not going.
Hey,
so.
Yeah.
It could be. This is
Sold my tickets.
when you hear Kyler Murray talk about this team coming in, and we love the challenge. You always want to see what you have, what you don't have early in the season. So if they come in here and they whip the Cardinals' butt, then you go, okay, this is what we got to work on. Hopefully they have all hands on deck. I think they got like another 8 or 9 guys that are questionable for this game. We'll catch up with Howard Balzer at 3:30 to get the latest. But I think that when you look at something like that, 5th game of the year, okay, great challenge to step up to the challenge. I like how Murray always, we want to step up to the challenge. We look forward to this. And if you're not looking forward to this, then keep your butt in the locker room.
Yeah.
I think I kind of hear between the lines when Murray talks. So this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be a slobber knocker. They're a physical team, that being
All right,
Philadelphia.
so let me follow up with that then. If you think it's going to be a slobber knocker, do you believe then that the Cardinals can match their physicality? Because in the games that they have lost, we haven't seen that yet.
This defense for Philadelphia is pretty tough,
it's
especially the
salty.
second with Slay. I mean, at
Yeah.
secondary,
Break.
they've been really well. And what, they had 7 takeaways last week
Yeah.
against Jacksonville.
Four fumbles by Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. So I mean, they're doing what they need to do
They've only
to
had
get the ball.
They've only had 2 takeaways the entire year. So they're like +8 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, they're a solid, sound team, and you cannot falter whatsoever on any other drives. You're going to have to really push it.
Hey, you want to get away? Well, how about Hawaii? As we are giving away a chance right now. You can sign up to play in the Twin Peaks Annual Football Picks. It's our fan pick'em contest. We've been doing it for about 15 years, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. Just head to fanpick'em.com, get in your weekly picks, and you can win yourself a trip to Hawaii or $5,000 cash. We also have weekly $50 Twin Peaks man cards as a prize as well. So check it out, fanpick'em.com. Well, everyone in the NFC West is currently at 2-2. Who's the team with the momentum moving forward? And who is the best team in the NFC? We're going to catch up with Tyler Dragon of the USA Today, give us his thoughts on the NFC West. We're live from Twin Peaks Tempe. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 9.
at the running back to play the style of football that he'd really like to be able to play.
Still no answer.
That's what I'm calling you. Quick throw, what a catch. He's upright. Terrific catch and run. One-on-one with Ramsey. Can't bring him down. Samuel, highlight reel, touchdown.
5 seconds.
That's a highlight from the other night, courtesy of ESPN. The 49ers and the Rams. That's Deebo Samuel with his 57-yard touchdown reception as the 49ers. I got to tell you, folks going into this season did not give them credit. And I was one that I thought they were going to have a good year, but everyone's like, oh, no, come on, they have a quarterback issues. But their defense is so strong.
That was
and you think about how they have gotten to where they are, and just go back, a couple years ago, they lost the Super Bowl, and then they were one play from getting to, so I look at this team and I say, wow, and they did it through the draft. A lot of it is through the draft.
Well, the first Super Bowl that they went to, that the front seven were all like first and second round picks.
Yeah, they've done a good job. That seems to have been their philosophy for many years.
And the defense, as you mentioned, Rock, it was going to have to carry them until Lance was able to get up to speed as a quarterback. And then all of a sudden they realized, you know what? If he goes down, which he did, maybe we should just keep this Jimmy G guy around.
Highest paid backup quarterback ever.
And then you satisfy Deebo Samuel, scratch his itch with the money.
They did.
He'll play whatever position you need him to. He'll take the water out there now. He'll go running back. He'll go receiver, whatever it is. But I think what Kyle Shanahan does is he's got a good core, good nucleus, got a good base on the offensive side. Now that Wilson's back, he's pretty much healthy. Good receiving core. And then Jimmy G does just enough, and just when you think you need somebody to pull it out, Jimmy will do it. And then there's times where you go, where the hell are you throwing that ball?
That's it.
Like that touchdown catch right there we heard from Deebo Samuel. If that ball's low on the numbers, it's picked off and going the other way. I mean, it's going to be intercepted. That ball's high. He came back and caught it, made a great move, and I didn't realize – I knew he's fast, but I didn't know he's that fast. He's a thick kid, can get down the field.
Thick kid.
He's about thick. He can run. Thick legs. Boy can run. But I think that San Francisco, the way I look at it right now, is I look at San Fran as a team that I feel is trending as right now the best team in the NFC West.
They're scary, Manuch. They really are, especially that
because of the defense more than anything.
That is correct. And the problems in the past have been a lot of their best defensive players have gotten hurt in previous seasons, and so that took that element away from them. So far this year, the majority of their great defensive players have been healthy.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like anything, guys, being healthy. The Arizona Cardinals at 2-2, very fortunate to be 2-2. And I look at this team and go, okay, you're 2-2. You could easily be 0-0-4.
Oh, they could be.
Okay, so that happens.
Yeah.
In the National Football League, you get, you pull one out of nowhere sometime. And I think that you look at that. And then the Rams, they just look a little discombobulated on offense. I think a lot of that is because Wood's gone and Odell's not playing on this team.
Correct.
So there's nobody there to take the top off the defense. There's nobody that home run hitter. So as you mentioned earlier, Jimmy, it's Cooper Kupp, tight end play, a couple of crossing routes. I mean, then Robinson, he's supposed to be that home run guy, that go-to guy.
Hasn't clicked yet.
So it's still the first quarter of the season, heading into the second quarter. Guys are still working things out, but guys, don't you know, the teams that catch it early and often are usually those teams that are going to end up at the end of the year in that Super Bowl.
What's interesting to note about the 49ers, being 2-2, can you tell me who their two losses are off the top of your head?
Oh, man. Chicago?
That's the first one. That was week one, a bad football team.
Yeah, Chicago, and was it Seattle beat them?
Sunday night?
Seattle beat them.
Broncos.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Denver. That's correct. Yes.
Two teams. Well, you can argue. We'll see. We're going to see who knows what Denver Bronco team we're going to see tonight against the Colts. But I mean, they've lost to the Bears and the Broncos. I mean, you look at that, and it should have gone the other way around. I mean, you had a gaffe in that Bronco game, right? With Jimmy G and that Bears game. That weather was horrible, but that's no excuse. They lost that one, and but then you look at the Rams. Okay, the Rams. They beat Arizona, but they lost their season opener to the Buffalo Bills.
Bad loss.
So, and then I think they beat the Atlanta Falcons and the Seahawks. They beat the Broncos and the Lions. So if you look at the NFC West, and no one's really played anybody. because you can make a case for the 2 wins that the Cardinals have are 2 bad teams.
Sure. Yeah, I would
That
say
being
that.
Vegas and Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think
Vegas is
now the
1-3.
season starts. I think you
Yeah.
can say they're all zeros right now.
Well,
But 2-2, they're all at the same place.
Yeah,
This is where it all starts.
But you would take 2-2 right now.
Absolutely.
With DeAndre Hopkins not being able
I
to play
agree.
until after Game 6.
And
so
then-
this week, you have the 49ers. They're going to be against the Panthers in Carolina, and then the Seahawks will face the Saints.
Okay.
Yes.
First, Cardinals got the undefeated Eagles, and then you got a big one with the Rams and the Cowboys.
That's big.
Yeah, that's in Los Angeles. But this Rams team's really hard to read right now.
Yeah, they are. And I will say this: Rashard Penny just went off last week against Detroit, and Rock, to that point, is okay. Bad teams, but they scored 45. You scored 48. You go, where did that output come? Well, it came from they had like close to 260 some yards rushing, being Seattle.
Geno Smith played
He
great.
played well, but Pete Carroll went to his offensive coordinator and said, "Look, let's pound it. Let's just give Geno enough to throw the ball down the field." So Penny, all of a sudden, he's that guy that they've been waiting for to have that breakout year.
Right.
Much injured the last couple of years.
He has been.
So Penny with a great game last week, and so now can Seattle capture that kind of momentum moving forward? So, guys, this thing's going to go down, I think, to the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Cardinals will play a lot of those interdivisional teams, and I think it's all decided at that point in time.
So a lot of us are degenerate gamblers, and when you look at the season so far, going into the season when it came to the win totals for these teams in the NFC West, Cardinals were at 8.5. And then the Rams were 10.5. The 49ers, believe it or not, were at 10. And then Seattle was at 5.5. I think Seattle's going to have more than 5.5 wins.
Oh, I would think so, sure. Especially with they
playing better than I think some people expected.
Yeah, and then Geno
10 is about right, possibly with San Francisco, maybe not.
Yep.
You got to remember 11 games now, or 17 instead of 16. So, and then the Rams, I'd take the under right now at 10.5.
The Rams just if Odell signs with them, plays the last 5 or 6 games, again they may have to race in to make the playoffs or win the NFC West.
I'm going to change
or come in the back door.
I'm going to say this. I think that we're not giving the Rams enough credit yet, because I think that because he didn't play any of his star players at all in preseason, and I have this feeling, similar to what we're seeing with the Arizona Cardinals, first 4 games were like preseason games. Everybody's trying to still
a lot of truth to that, Jimmy.
Figure it out. Yeah, I'm just not a pretty face.
Yeah, a lot of truth to that.
So the point that I want to make, though, is for some reason, and I get your point on Odell Beckham if he returns.
3 minutes.
But I think the Rams are going to be the team still to beat in the NFC West.
Yeah, they still have a lot of talent on that defense.
There's a lot of talent.
And people say, well, they might have the Super Bowl hangover. I don't buy that. I mean, it's been a long time. I think without playing a lot of preseason, getting yourself back into gear and getting yourself the timing. But when you lose Woods and you don't have your Odell, who came after about 3 or 4 games last year when they made the trade. You just lose a lot of those weapons. But until then, hell, if Cooper Kupp gets hurt, you know what? It's going to be tough sledding for him as far as that being Stafford.
He's got nobody to throw to.
There isn't.
Cooper Kupp is
and Rock, he's throwing to him way too much. So defense is going, okay, we're going to double him. You saw that game the other night.
Yep.
They tripled him, and they said, okay, we'll take him. We
2
dare
minutes.
to throw over the top.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't. They're not running the ball. Cam Akers is running okay, but they don't have the running game they had last year either.
I just felt that Cam Akers was going to explode out of the blocks, and that has not happened yet.
Well, he's still coming off the injury.
I have him
too.
on my fantasy team. So
Yeah, we got to do Jax, get the fantasy update for us. I want to know how everybody's doing. I finally got my first win. My team sucks.
Yeah, you beat me last week, Rock.
No, I didn't.
I think you did. Yeah,
I didn't play you last week.
I thought you did. Yeah, I'm 2-2 now. With all my guys, Lamar Jackson peters out on me in the last quarter.
I'm on fire. I'm 3-1.
So I'll take that all day long. I mean, we're playing for
1
a
minute.
50-inch smart TV, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's sitting in my garage. That you're not getting the box.
Oh, we're just getting
it's just sitting in my garage. I'm just kidding.
With all the heat, it'll be melted by the time he gives it away.
Hey, we are out here at Twin Peaks. Buckle up. Brunch is now being served here at the local lodge. You can wake up with the scratch favorites you love, the classic brunch drinks that won't break the bank, and you can head to each one. I mean, you should just one weekend, you switch it up. Maybe you go to Glendale, maybe you go to Camelback, you can go to Tempe, where we're at today, or Scottsdale soon, Deer Valley. But check it out. Brunch at Twin Peaks at all 4 Valley locations. Well, it's National Coaches Day, and I want to have some fun with that. And on this day, I'm going to take you guys back. I mean, take you so far back to, I believe, a day that Manuch and I, when we were on the air, we probably talked about, we're going to go back 17 years. And we had so much fun with this to the point where we even created a parody off of this particular incident that had to do with one particular NFL team and a bunch of players on that team. It's coming up as we continue on for the Twin Peaks in Tempe. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Sold on this day report. Get our price, a higher price at 72sold.com.
I'm your coach.
Today is National Coaches Day.
A good coach encourages.
We need more. Guys are hot. 5 seconds.
Good coach disciplines and criticizes.
Happy National Coaches Day.
Okay, coaches ready? Take your position. It's showtime.
That's right. It's National Coaches Day.
Woohoo!
So congratulations and thank you for all the coaches out there and what you do. You men and women that have been coaching. It doesn't matter if it's Pee Wee, baseball, or an NFL team. There are a lot of great people out there that it's not for everybody being a coach. Manuch, one of the best in the business with all his quarterbacks, and I couldn't handle it. Listen to you every day on a Sunday or after work.
I struggle just on the show.
Yeah, exactly. I have too for the last 18 years. So with that being said, for our 72 Sold on this day report, and it being National Coaches Day, we'll start with you, Jimmy. Who's your favorite coach of all time, any sport?
Well, this is a personal set for me. The reason is because of what I've done my entire career, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to.
Whoa! You set us up that you're going down this road, and then you pivoted.
There were violins playing in the background.
Yeah, we were ready to go. All right.
I'm going to go to the greatest university on the planet, that being Eastern Washington.
Oh my gosh!
Wait. That's the red field?
Yeah,
That is the red field.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would not have been or had the opportunity after college to strike out on the tennis tour if it wasn't for Robert Anderson,
Okay.
who was the tennis coach at Eastern Washington. And when I arrived on campus as a scholarship player and went 4 years there, graduated in 4, unlike other guys who take 7.
Yeah.
So, but I graduated.
Some on purpose.
Yeah, that's true. I graduated in 4.
So you didn't get the 8-year plan, Jimmy?
And I did not get that. And so it was his, I guess, hounding me. Kid, you can do this. You can do this. You're not the biggest guy, but you have a big game.
Sure.
The way that I played, and I could handle with my quickness and agility and speed on the court, and I had excellent eye-hand coordination, and he made it available to me and even got 2 sponsors, I won't get into that, to sponsor me on the pro tour once I got out of college for the first 2 years.
He saw that in you that you didn't see in yourself.
That's correct.
I think that's what great coaches do. Mine is Vince Lombardi. Ever since, growing up as a kid, just his sayings, the way he approached the game, the discipline. And I remember there at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old watching the Packers and watching the way he coached. And, you see all those clips on NFL and looking back on it,
sure.
just the way he handled guys, each one individually. And they knew that he was very fair with them. He was tough, but he was fair. And I just loved the way he handled guys and just that commitment to excellence each and every day as to you can't do this, you can't do that. And on top of that, fine Italian guy that he is, but, he had that factor of you love the guy. He's a love-hate relationship with his players.
That's it.
Mine, no question, unequivocally, would be my dad. And the reason why is he was my coach in baseball and tennis and basketball. And I wasn't the superstar athlete like you two guys, but because it was my dad, I got to play.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, where you at?
You weren't right.
I don't know.
Bench.
Yeah, you're out of right field, son. But
right
I
bench.
was a decent athlete. But
That's great.
but yeah, I mean, you got to go coach. And even now, I'm very fortunate to still have my parents around, and he coaches me today. So I'll go with
That's
I'll
great.
go with that. So
that's great.
hey, it's also by the way, today it is National Noodle Day.
National Noodle
Yeah,
Day?
did you know in a recent poll, 89% of Italians said putting ketchup on pasta is unacceptable.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I would
Totally,
never
man.
do
You can't
that.
do that.
No.
Cutting pasta with a knife is unacceptable.
I would agree with that.
Putting pasta in cold water and then boiling it, 81% believe that is unacceptable.
I agree. It's got to be boiling, man. It'll be boiling. Get that bad boy going.
Yeah, there's a bunch more, but those are some. I want to get into something else. When it comes to on this day,
Okay.
let me see what I have here. I got a few that I want to jump on. Real quick, 29 years ago today, 1993, Michael Jordan announced his first retirement from basketball.
Yep.
Of course, he attempted that minor league baseball career with the Birmingham Barons, played in the Arizona Fall League, which is getting underway right now. He was with the Scottsdale Scorpions. I was with the league the year before, which was the inaugural year of the Arizona Fall League, which I'm a big fan of that league.
Here's a quick story on Michael Jordan and just what you talked about, him going to play in Birmingham. He was in the practice sessions with the White Sox in Florida. The network asked me to go down and do an interview with him. So I flew in, set up everything, and I'm sitting outside one of the little brick houses that they have there where the coaches go and talk to players. Jordan goes in, and there was a window there, and I'm waiting for him to come out. He knew he was going to do the interview with me. And I'm looking through the window, and I see Jordan sitting there, and all of a sudden his head drops. And I didn't know what happened at the time, but when he came out,
3 minutes.
he tells me, they just told me I'm not going to AAA. I'm going to AA Birmingham.
Wow.
Right there.
Good stuff. And not to mention, just another note with Jimmy B here on this day. Not today, but Jimmy B called Michael Jordan's first game for the Chicago Bulls.
I did.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you, brother.
17 years ago, 2005, and we're going to have some sound here. I don't know how I should do this, Ben. I think what I may do is play the disclaimer, then play the parody that we did that was in 25, And let's see if Jimmy and Manuch can figure out what this story is all about. All right, so let's play the disclaimer, folks. We play this when there's something that we're going to play is kind of borderline. It's somewhat, it could be considered offensive. So we won't let you know that if you got kids in the car. But we'll throw that out there. Here is our disclaimer, and then we'll get to this parody that we did a long time ago.
The views and opinions expressed by various hosts.
I got you in queue right now, Rock. I'll play it right after this.
Considered endorsed or reflect the opinions of the owners of Fox Sports 910, iHeartRadio, or anyone that's even associated
Sounds good.
with this radio station in any way.
2 minutes.
Roc and Manuch broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment in the hope that they'll be entertaining to the audience. Listeners are urged to use their own judgment to draw their own conclusions. Ownership of this radio station does not confirm nor deny the validity or accuracy of the information aired on Roc and Manuch. All information, products, and services are provided solely for entertainment and enjoyment. Finally, we encourage the importance of keeping an open mind and not construing the stories, facts, or services as factual. In other words, Roc and Manuch wants you to relax and enjoy the ride.
I'm going to pod you guys up now.
All right, guys, see if you can figure this out. 2005. Turn it up.
Love Boat theme?
Yes.
A Viking sex cruise. Bring a whore
1 minute.
and sex toy to use. You love that we don't ski, swim, or fish. We're knocking off a piece of cheap street squish. The Love Boat, the NFL ship of sin.
30 seconds.
The Love Boat, our marbles are always on
Man. Oh, I can only think that first guy I think of is Dante Culpepper.
That's right.
The Minnesota Vikings.
That's great.
They rented 2 party
15.
boats.
They did.
They set sail on Lake Minnetonka.
Yes.
10
And
seconds.
they engaged in some highly sexual acts with ladies.
That's it.
Wow. Good
Wow.
stuff. That's back in 2005. Roc and Manuch continues with Jimmy B.
Oh, man.
proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In Iraq and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch.
You guys are hot.
Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Appreciate you spending part of it with us. It's Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B, Jax here at the Twin Peaks in Tempe. We got Ben holding up the fort at the iHeartRadio studios just down the street from here. We'll be here till 4 o'clock. Tonight's game, we'll get started right after 5 o'clock on Amazon Prime. And you can come watch that at any of the 4 locations at Twin Peaks and take advantage of some really good drink specials, especially if you are a Blue Moon or Coors Light fan, because the big man-sized drafts are on sale every Thursday at all 4 locations. By the way, soon to be 5 locations at over there in Deer Valley. So looking forward to them opening up their next location, and which will add to our mix because each and every Thursday we're at one of them. So here it's Tempe, so we're pretty excited about that. Also, we got a great promotion going on with Twin Peaks. We've been doing it all football season, giving away a custom backyard patio grill. Your chance to win one is right now. Just text Peaks to 55678. That's Peaks to 55678. You'll be entered to win. And it's courtesy of Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light, as I just mentioned. And you may not have room for one at your house or your apartment. Well, then re-gift it.
Absolutely.
Re-gift it. Why not? You can enter every day, once a day. Standard message and data rates apply. Again, just text Peaks to 55678. Coming up this hour, we will catch up with the play-by-play voice, the longtime play-by-play voice of the 12th-ranked Oregon Ducks, as they have Arizona in Tucson on Saturday night on the Pac-12 Network at 6 o'clock. And then also you will have a chance to compete against one of the young ladies here at Twin Peaks for a $25 man card as we do our Peaks Picks. We do that every Thursday. So we got that this hour. We got a random fact of the day. Got some good stuff. This random fact of the day is so good. Can I just do it now?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
You're
Please.
jonesing over there, Roc.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you know that Troy Aikman in only 6 years has passed for 16,303 yards? Did you know the career record for most hits is 4,256 by Pete Rose, who is not in the Hall of Fame?
Do you know that my next door neighbor has 3 rabbits?
Now time for Fox Sports 910's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you the random facts of the day driven by your Valley Chevy dealers. Find new roads at your Chevy dealer. For a dealer near you, head to valleychevy.com.
Now, I got to figure out how to set this one up.
Do we need another disclaimer, Roc?
No,
Yeah, okay.
no. It's just it's one of the oddest random facts I've ever pulled in the 18 years you and I have done this.
Okay.
And I don't think it's accurate. If sometimes we challenge some of these random facts today. We're like, dude, no way. Come on. Shut up, Roc. Where did you find that? And these random facts, I fact check them.
Sure.
And they're legit. But this one, I was going to try to make it a funny bit. I was going to try to have some fun with you, Manuch, and because of everything between your ears. And I just couldn't.
There's still stuff there, Roc.
I couldn't figure out
there's a mask
how
there.
to do this. So what I'm going to do is just tell you what this random fact of the day is.
Okay.
And maybe we'll just hold on to this.
Okay.
And maybe bring it back in a few weeks with a bit.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
We'll get our crack staff together.
All right.
Because today's random fact of the day is you burn approximately 320 calories a day just by thinking.
Really? Man.
So
Well,
you're not because
maybe
you're not
that's-
that thin.
Maybe that's why maybe that's why I'm
I
so
know I'm
thin.
not. And I'm like, that's why it applies to me. It's you sure it's 320 calories a day that you're losing?
Just
by thinking.
That's why I'm so lean, Roc. I'm lean and mean. Always thinking ahead. That's kind of what ex-QBs
Isn't
do.
that one of the most
That's
bizarre?
bizarre. How do you know? How do you measure that?
I don't. Some MIT guy figured it out, or gal. I mean, or an Ivy leaguer. Someone had to figure it out.
Did they have like brain surgery? Have an electrode there?
You're the one who had brain surgery. Maybe
Yeah.
they figured it out with you.
Yeah, well, I did have it. Matter of fact, I got to go in for another checkup here in about another month. So just to make sure that everything's doing okay. Nothing's growing there. But that's just, that's bizarre. By just thinking 320 calories.
Where did you find that? Was that like?
Dude, I'll never
tell.
Can't reveal your sources, Jimmy.
It's the same place I find it every day on this show.
All right.
So I'm not going to ever give up my
sources.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would I ever do that?
Yeah.
Well,
So I always tell
I
Jimmy.
pay for this prep.
Yeah.
I always tell Jimmy, don't think too much. You want to hurt yourself. God forbid.
Well,
what, you going to trip over something?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that
you want to blow a gasket, man?
Isn't that painfully obvious with my part on this show? So,
So there's that random fact.
Okay.
Use that with your kids tonight at the dinner table.
Okay.
And it's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers. Your Valley Chevy dealers serving the Valley for over 80 years. For a Valley Chevy dealer near you, head to valleychevy.com. Let's get to one of the top stories today. There's a few, but we got to give some love to this particular organization because we're not going to talk about them for another 4 months.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, I think it's still the D-backs closing out their season. Had a comeback win last night against the Brewers in Milwaukee. They're done for the season, and they finished with a 74-88 overall record, and that is their third losing season in a row for the Snakes.
I find it, I guess I find it heartening that some of the young guys that they called up played reasonably well for their opportunity in Major League Baseball. I mean, Corbin Carroll homered last night. I mean, this is a team that has, at least it appears that they have, some young talent that will be very serviceable for the next few seasons. But it's not enough, Rock. They're going to have to fill in some gaps here with at least one or two studs.
Well, think about that.
I want to let me add something real quick. Because I think it's important to note that 74 wins this year, 52 last year.
It's going to go down now.
And that's in a division where the Giants had 107 wins and the Dodgers had 106 wins last year. You got to put that in perspective, how tough this division is. I mean, the Padres and the Rockies, they all finished under 500 as well. But that is a big improvement if you're going year to year, and I think you have to consider that. And then when you look at the division as a whole, the Padres were over 500. They were about 550. They won most of their games, and then 111 games for the Dodgers, which is huge. And the Giants finished at 500. So, they were pretty close. They're pretty close to finishing 500. But I think you'll take 74 wins from 52 last year all day long.
Sure, you will.
Bullpen killed the bullpen.
They got to find some help there.
They do.
That should be priority one, which I'm sure it is.
And if you win, if the odds were in favor of winning half of those games they lost with the bullpen.
We bring that up a lot, Manuch, and I don't know if that's necessarily the case. We talked about that and I think it was end of June, and we were talking about, hey, there was 21 games where it was a one-run game, could have gone the other way. But I think we really got to investigate and do some research on that because I don't think that's as accurate as we think it is.
Well, the lead, they looked at the end of July, and they also talked about August as well, to how this team, how many games they were in, and the implosion of the bullpen again and again and again, which they did some kind of mathematical theory.
Yeah, I would like to see that because I've yet to find that. I've heard people talk about it, but no one is sourcing it.
Well,
I'm a former PR guy in baseball. It's all about the stats, right? And I want to see it. I want to source it. I want to see what that number is, and then I can make it and give my opinion on it. Was it all bullpen for what this team has did? Because there are a lot of positives. Merrill Kelly, 200+ innings, and this pitching staff, starting pitching staff, had a lot of success.
3
but
minutes.
I think you look at the defense is average. They still need an identity. They still need a couple big-time stars. You got kids and you want to make them, Diamondback fans. You want them to grow up Diamondback fans. Whose jersey are you buying?
Well, I think you'll think of Nick Ahmed, who will be back next year.
No, you don't.
I'm just saying what I think Nick Ahmed was that budding star, but he got hurt last year. He went to the All-Star game 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's that token one guy from every team.
And then Ketel Marte, what has he done? He's been off and on. He's that guy. They need to stick with their young guys that are really doing a good job. The Varshows of the world, the McCarthys, Christian Walker, all those guys need to develop, and they'll be fine. But when you enhance the bullpen, go get another starter and then some in that rotation. Because with Kelly and Gallen after that, and Mad Bum, they're forced to keep him. Whatever you get out of him is going to be a bonus next year. So hopefully he gets straightened out because nobody's going to take him or take that contract in a trade. So you've got to go get go get another bat or two, go get another arm or two. And if they have anything to do with saving some of these games that they missed out on this year, then they'll have a shot at the wild card, if anything. But they're not going to outspend the Dodgers. They're not going to outspend the Giants.
Just spend.
Not
looking for the outspend, just spend.
Well, they're there, and then the Rockies, they'll be the Rockies and the Padres. Look at their payroll.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have
disappointing year for them.
Huge, back-to-back disappointing years.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Bob Melvin is the guy for them as far as that manager. He's the guy that I think that can keep them together.
2 minutes.
And then moving forward, that big payroll that they have.
Yeah, I want to tell you about 72 Sold. We've been talking about it quite a bit. Myself, Jimmy, Manuch, as they are the official real estate partner of this show, along with Cardinals and Diamondbacks. But how do you not know? By now, we've been telling you that 72 Sold is the easiest way to sell your home for top dollar. They have Make the Inc. 500 list for fastest growing real estate companies in America, and they've been featured on Forbes, ABC, CBS, and NBC. You'd be crazy to sell your home any other way. So for the easiest, fastest, most profitable way to sell your home, just head to 72sold.com. As I mentioned, they are the official real estate partner of the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, and us, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. So go to 72sold.com to get a higher price for your home. Well, Cliff Kingsbury's model girlfriend sends what is being considered she's kind of obsessed with this team and the Cardinal fan base. And we'll tell you all about that. And we have an update on the protester who ran out on the field at Levi Stadium during Monday Night Football. You're not going to believe what he's doing. That's next. We're at the Twin Peaks in Tempe. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
The Drive with Jody Ayler, now in mornings. Tomorrow from 6
Guys are hot.
on Fox Sports 910.
So there's not a lot of talk locally, but I think it was October of 2020 where this particular model, Veronica Mielik, I want to say is her name.
I think that's
how you say it.
Close enough, Rock.
Beautiful young lady.
Yep.
It was linked to Cliff Kingsbury as his lady friend. You know, they maybe live together now, and in that big, nice plush house that we saw during draft day.
Huge house.
Well, over the weekend, she posted a scenic snapshot from Sedona, and of course, the Arizona Cardinal fans, it didn't go unnoticed. And it said, "Oh no, my Cardinals are going to lose this weekend." And then it says, because she is in AZ, Cliff will be distracted. That's what somebody said back to her. I guess I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess a short time later, she responded to the fan by saying, "I've never seen anyone more obsessed and focused on his work. So they are good." From his lady, Veronica.
So she shot back and said, "Nothing to worry about. He's
nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. He's dialed in, whether I'm in town or not."
I mean, she's a model and she shares her bikini pictures and all that, but she's got 3.4 million Instagram followers.
Wow. Cliff, you're doing pretty good.
I think I have 2.
I mean, Cliff's a good-looking dude. I mean, that's what you expect him to be.
You know what?
He's Ryan Gosling.
He's loaded cash-wise.
Yeah.
He's the head coach. There's only 32 of these jobs. I mean, he's styling. Former quarterback, I mean, damn.
I think she responded in a good way. There's been some significant others or wives that responded in a very sensitive way. And if you're the wife of a player, a coach, significant other, whatever it is, you just got to be very careful you don't get caught up in all this stuff.
It's tough on that
but you got to be careful you don't get into a tit for tat type of thing.
I understand.
With the fans. You just can't. And I'm sure if it was real negative, well, you'll just worry about yourself, whatever. Her tone was, hey, he's focused, he's obsessed, he's good to go. It's a very pleasant way to get back to the fans. Hey, it's all right. He's dialed in. No big deal here.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
Except her bikini pictures on Instagram.
About
the protester who ran out onto the field at Levi's Stadium during the Monday night game. He got bounced to the turf by Bobby Wagner of the Rams.
It was great.
He filed a police report against Wagner.
What?
Yeah, he alleges that he was victim of a blatant assault by the 2 Rams players that hit him. Here's a clip from the game and Wagner on the actions.
Fan is on the field, so we'll have a bit of a stoppage, and now some of the Rams players get involved. And Bobby Wagner had enough. He just took the fan down.
I just saw somebody running on the field, and he looked like he wasn't supposed to be on the field. So I saw security was having a little problem, so I helped him out.
Security was having a lot of problems. 2 guys went down chasing this guy.
So it's always fun to see it. I know the players hate it.
They do.
I think us fans that go to the game just want to be entertained, and you see some dumbass, running out there, and you want to see him get hit by one of the players.
I want a guy
I'm glad
a
guy like Bobby Wagner who can hit.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to see a good shot on the field, Mike Curtis, circa 1968, just go to YouTube and just put Mike Curtis, fan on the field. He just absolutely lays this knucklehead out who picks the ball up and starting to run off. And Mike Curtis is right there with the Baltimore Colts in those days. He's right there. He just gives him a bang with his shoulder. Guy goes down. Ball goes flying, and then the security's right there.
They had
Classic
to carry
move.
him out.
Classic.
Mike Curtis was a mean guy, too.
He was.
He will take your head
But
off.
you're fair game if you're on the field.
Yes, that's my point.
That's why he's found a police report.
Yeah, you are. I mean, that's not your spot. Your spot is in the
Some people can't get out of their own way.
Oh, I know.
He had a smoke bomb as well.
Yeah.
So you don't know what the hell that is. So he knocks him down. He got the smoke bomb. If it's tear gas or whatever.
I thought he was doing a gender reveal. Is kind of what
That's
I
what
thought.
they were saying.
Yeah.
But that was not.
But that's not the point.
Guys. With all the security
on
the field, how does he get on in the first place?
Manuch,
You
come
jump
on.
the fence.
It's
Come on.
easy.
It's easy. Yeah, you just jump over and start
Dude, I
running.
gotta tell you, I heard tell you a story that U2 was playing at on Franklin at Sun Devil Stadium,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
just down the street. And my buddy and I, we were nosebleed, way up, and way in the end zone, and literally, we had a couple cocktails, and we're like, let's see how close we can get, right? And I had just moved here, working for the Cardinals, and our office was at Sun Devil Stadium, and I told my buddy, I said, dude, let's just act like we know what we're doing, and no one's going to stop us.
That's it.
So we literally, I can't exaggerate. We could call him. The guy that I went with is a prominent guy, runs a television station in another state, very smart guy, and we literally got on stage, and I was probably 10 feet from Bono, and we just stood there and watched the concert for a good 15 minutes until we were escorted.
You
to
just
leave.
acted like you knew you were
We
doing.
just walked in the back. The stage was on the south end zone. That's where
Okay.
the stage was, and it was a long stage that kind of went out. And literally, we're sitting there, and the three other guys. I think U2's got 3 guys, and there's only 5 people on stage, and we were 2 of them. And I can't make that out. There's no exaggeration. It's not radio shtick.
No.
But we just sat there. We're like, this is awesome. We're on the stage with you too.
Imagine having your iPhone in those days.
Oh, there were no phones.
There's nothing. You had your flip phone or maybe the car phone that you had in those days with the car phone.
Hey, Aaron Judge's 62 home run. It's gotten a lot of attention. We know that. The value somewhere around $2 million. And
For the ball. Yeah.
Maybe you could justify that. I can't. I since interleague play, when you hear American League records, the National League records, I'm like, the big record is the Barry Bonds record.
It's
I'm
73,
sorry.
yeah.
If it's tainted or whatever, but 62, great. It's awesome. He's
Yep.
a Yankee, whatever. It would have been nice if it was I heard what's his name? The morning guy.
Ayler?
Yeah, Jody was talking about it yesterday. What if it was a Baltimore Oriole or it was a Texas Ranger or
Exactly.
Minnesota
City-
Vikings? Nobody would.
Kansas City
I'd be like,
Royals.
oh.
It's the charm is
But
the
it's
Yankees.
the Yankees, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, some of the other items have some value here
Okay.
as well as they're looking at some values in regards to the glove, the cleats, the helmet. All of that is going for some serious
Ooh, wow.
dollars. I mean, $200,000 here, $500,000 here. Every single piece of, even from probably the underwear he was wearing. And I'm like saying to myself, it's 62. Or I mean, it's
No, he's a
it's-
Yankee.
it's
That's
American
why.
League.
It's like, come on, it's not even.
It's the American League home run record.
But
though,
it
Rock.
doesn't
It's the
matter.
Yankees.
I'm with you, Rock.
It's
I'm with you.
interleague play.
Yeah.
Does that apply anymore? These
Hey.
records are not the same as they used to be with interleague play.
But it's baseball, and baseball goes way out to the stratosphere when it comes to so-called records.
And the
they-
charm of the Yankees
they
is
do-
too profound with that.
Well,
Jimmy.
it is. I mean, look, right fielder, just like Maris, Ruth, they were both left-handed hitters. He's the first right-handed hitter. He's in pinstripes. That's why it has gotten, I think, in your case, Rock, why it's gotten so
Overblown.
Yes, just because it's New York, biggest media market on the planet, and it is
All right, well, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
3
But they
minutes.
could have played them. That's a
Well, but
similar
that's-
schedule because they're playing interleague play.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's 62 the clean way, number one. Then you add all the other stuff. That's still
Maybe.
62 home runs.
I understand
clean
that.
way.
Manuch,
the
Manuch,
clean way.
what does it say in the record books? It says nothing about the clean way.
Yeah.
It says Barry Bonds,
No.
73.
And if it's not clean, if you're going to go down that road, then you got to take out every single
Everything.
stat that had anything to do with Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Every pitcher, every strike he threw, every ball,
Everything.
anything,
Take 'em
everything.
out. I have no
Every
problem with
win, every win that the San Francisco had, any win that your Cardinals had. I mean, you got to blow it all up.
Hey, I
And
get all that.
There's probably 50 to 100 guys, maybe even more,
Well, that's
that
what they-
all were not clean
Oh,
in that
no,
era.
there were at least 100 guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, in that whole
that was the
report,
era.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Hey,
does two wrongs make
minutes.
a right?
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is what's in Major League
Did
Baseball.
you really
record
care
book.
at the time? Honestly.
Well,
Did
once
you
you start to
care at
find
the
out-
time that, is he clean or not clean? I mean, come on, McGuire, Sosa?
Well, we
that
thought
was
it-
probably the best time we
You-
have had as
you
sports fans, as baseball fans.
That's
when
correct.
that was all gone. They weren't clean.
Well, but we didn't know that at the time. So you
Okay,
go,
that's
oh, wow,
my
this
point.
This is pretty
What does
awesome.
it matter at this point?
Then when you find out they're
we got
cheating,
entertained.
when you find out that these guys that made all their money were robbing banks, and the other guys were earning their keep, but he's robbing banks. He got all that money. He's rich. Well, no, he's not rich because he was doing it illegally, but these guys are making all their money legally.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I just look at it and go, okay, now we found out they were dirty.
Look,
The problem was Bud Selig knew
that is
did nothing
true.
about
He
it
did nothing
because the game needed
Nothing
the,
to see
the,
here.
the,
Yeah,
the
that's it.
game needed a shot in the arm.
All right.
to
And it
get
got it,
back
and it was
to-
great.
All right, so you tell me this then. Why is David Ortiz in the Baseball Hall of Fame
1 minute.
when he was dirty?
That's a contradiction. That's on the Major League players, the MLB writers that voted him in.
Yes, they suck
They
for
should've-
doing that.
exactly
Because
right.
they liked Big Papi.
Yeah,
People
because
did not like
that's
Barry
it.
Bonds.
That
They
is
did
correct.
not like Mark McGuire.
And they did not like Roger Clemens.
And that was
either.
my-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He
and the
wasn't clean.
contradiction, that is wrong. And that's a contradiction. David
Okay.
Ortiz and all the other guys.
So essentially, you do have a guy who used in the Hall of Fame.
Sure, exactly.
So the precedent's already been set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
let
are
him
we
in.
wait? What are we waiting for?
Yeah,
then?
exactly.
Well, because those
At
writers.
the end of the day, Manuch, do you have a problem if Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame?
Oh,
Really?
absolutely.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
if you're going to do it right, do it the right
Come
way.
on.
You can't be cheating.
Oh.
You're going to cheat this. If you cheat you cheat your game, you cheat your
But there's other
dog,
guys that got in that cheated. So what's the matter?
and they
What?
shouldn't be in there. They should
But
never
they
have been.
are. They are.
It's unfortunate they are. Now, that's the great contradiction. I will say that with you guys, of these guys voting those in that know they cheated
Yes.
versus those.
Yeah.
You should know where to be found. If you injected whatever, negate them from going in.
And make sure you tune in Saturday to the only local sports gambling show here in the state of Arizona. Take the points. Presented by Casino Arizona, live from the sports book in the CAZ Sports Bar. You got Bauer, Gross, Jacks. Show starts at 11 o'clock right after Backspin, the golf show, and which starts at 9. It's your uncensored sports betting show, and it's every Saturday at 11 o'clock right here on Fox Sports 910. Well, the 12th ranked Oregon Ducks, well, they're the best team right now in the Pac-12, arguably. We'll catch up with Jerry Allen, the play-by-play voice of the Ducks. He's been doing it for 36 years.
Wow.
They're going to be in Tucson on Saturday night. That game actually is going to be on the Pac-12 network. We'll get into it with him next as we continue from the Tempe Twin Peaks. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports.
49 yards. Chase Cota shot out of a cannon.
Trying to get to the quarter to get a rest for their defense, and Oregon wanted to run as many plays as possible. Did a great job getting
Fox.
the line of scrimmage, getting set, getting that snap out. Chase Cota comes around.
Guys are hot.
Just a little bit of a wide receiver middle screen.
Fox with the call there as the Oregon eggshell uniforms are making the return.
They are.
Saturday night in Tucson as they face the Arizona Wildcats. Joining us to talk some Duck football as they are in Tucson Saturday, 6 o'clock. I'll be on the Pac-12 Network. Is actually the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen, now in his 36th year of calling Duck football. Jerry, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. How you doing today?
Gentlemen, I'm doing real well. We finally got the sunshine to come out of the foggy, cloudy skies this morning. So we're getting used to that Arizona weather now.
Yeah, good. Well, you're going to – hey, I'm sure you wouldn't mind being down here on New Year's Eve in the Fiesta Bowl for the semi. That would be nice.
Oh, that would be the best.
Hey, Jerry, I want to take you back a little bit here. You know, you've been doing this for a long time, and I'm reminded when Oregon punched their ticket to the first ever college football playoff ever, and that was, I think, 2014 Pac-12 championship. And I guess Levi Stadium had just opened. And, you know, both Arizona and Oregon came in with these really big offenses. And Marcus Mariota, you know, put up one of his best games ever, an unbelievable performance. But when you look at that game where they blew out the Wildcats 51-13, where does that stack as one of the most important games for Duck football?
Well, there's no doubt that it was. I mean, we had one earlier, too, that was kind of, you know, is along the lines of the same importance. And Oregon beat Oregon State in what used to be called the Civil War to get them to what was Chip Kelly's first championship playoff. And it was that Arizona win was kind of big because, first of all, it was shocking because both teams were so equal. Some big things happened for Oregon in that game, a one against Arizona, and it made it look like probably an easier victory than it really was. But it kind of announced that maybe Oregon really was ready to represent the Pac-12.
Sure.
They really were the real deal. And so that's the memory I have, that it kind of, we felt like we really kind of had arrived.
And Marcus Mariota is still the guy, right? I mean, he's still, I mean, he doesn't pay for anything when he comes back to Eugene, does he?
Yeah. No. When he comes back to town, he goes with the police escort.
Yeah.
He's still the man. He's still the man.
Jerry, you look at this Oregon team, and after the hiccup, I'll say that, in the 49-3 loss to Georgia, I guess my question for you is, you guys were coming home on that plane just kind of going, what just happened to us? What were some of the lessons learned, if you will, in that game, which has allowed you guys to go on and have this streak that you have at 4-1?
Well, I think for head coach Dan Lanning, it was an opportunity for him to look at his guys and say, okay, guys, I told you, you got to work harder. You got to be smarter. You got to prepare better. I tried to tell you that's a program that we want to become like. And I think that was, I mean, there's never a good loss. You don't like to lose a game. But to lose a game against a team like Georgia, from a guy who's your new head coach who just came from there, I think it was a great lesson for his players. They were either going to say, "Oh, okay, now we get it, we understand. We just got our butts handed to us, and you tried to tell us, and we didn't listen. We'll listen now, coach." So I think that's what that game did for Oregon.
Also interesting, you know, as bad as Bo Nix had a game, he has played that well, almost 70% completions. He's only got 3 interceptions with the 12 touchdown passes. For him to kind of take that role, per se, of that leadership role and be that guy now, the last couple of games, he seems like he's settled down and is now, with his offensive coordinator in Dillingham, understands what to do and is just kind of taking the reins.
Yeah, I think he's matured. I mean, a lot. He's grown into the job. He got married during the off season, I think in late July, just before fall camp opened up. So there's some of that too. But I think that he, in the first few games, you know, particularly the Georgia game, was trying to do too much. You know, a new guy in, I'm going to show you I can be a leader. And Coach Dillingham, I think, has settled him down and say, hey, look, here's what we want you to do. Play within the system, the plan, and then grow from there. And that's what he's done. He's a pretty smart kid. Plus, he's got an offensive line in front of him and a receiver group that have made him a better quarterback. I think, you know, maybe some of the problems he had when he was at Auburn was just the team around him. Not that they weren't good, It's just that they weren't in sync together. So I think a lot of people wrote him off probably way too early.
And speaking of quarterbacks there, Ty Thompson here in the Valley, a Mesquite High School kid I've trained since 6th grade. How's he coming along? Is he that backup ready and waiting there in Oregon?
Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, it's tough when you have two quality quarterbacks and they're both good and only one of them can play.
Sure.
I mean, that's a hard thing to do. And it's I don't care who that backup guy is, when you know that you're that good, are you a team guy? Are you going to be there in practice? You're going to support your team, or are you going to kind of cave in? He's never caved. I mean, he's there. And it's really comfortable for me because we've been through some years when a starting quarterback goes down and it ruined the season for us. Don't feel like that now. I feel like if anything happened to Owen, God, for that ever does, Oregon's going to just keep rolling. I mean, Ty's a really good quarterback.
Jerry, take me to your defense. They got lit up pretty good against Washington State, and only a furious comeback by the Ducks, which enabled them to pull out that victory. What sort of changes or what do they need to do now to get on the right page so they don't give up so many points, particularly through the air?
Well, I think they learned a little bit from that Washington State game, because I think the Ducks prepared for them in a certain way, expecting something from them, and Washington State came at them a little differently, and the Ducks adjusted to it in the second half, but it took them a while to understand. And Washington State threw everything at Oregon, every trick play you can think of, and they executed every one of them perfectly. So they came in with a great game plan, the Cougars did, and I think it took Oregon a while to realize and adjust to what Washington State was doing. When you do that against a team that can score and move the ball the way that the Cougars did, then they're going to put points and some yards up against you. And the Ducks, to their credit, were able to pull it together and not panic in the end, and got their offense to save them.
That was a terrific comeback. I don't think they'll have to do that this coming weekend in Tucson against Arizona, but Arizona can throw the football all over the yard. So how do you rate the matchup, and how do you think it's going to go down this Saturday?
Well, it's a scary matchup because Arizona's strength is going against Oregon, if you want to say defensively, weakness in the back end. And I'm not saying that Oregon isn't good in the back end, but they've given up some yards through the air, and their strength is against the run. Arizona, probably will run just to keep Oregon a little bit honest. But holy cow, Jaden Delora is scary, not because he throws the ball so well, and he's got receivers that just get open, but that he can extend plays. He can make it tough on a secondary to try to cover. And when you got good receivers and a quarterback who's got time and can move around, that's not a good combination. So that's the
3 minutes
that I think concerns Oregon and Oregon fans, is the ability for Delora to extend plays and give his receivers time to come back or get downfield and get open.
Jerry, my last question for you. Dan Lanning, as you mentioned, coming from Georgia. Is there any kind of SEC flavor you see up there in Eugene that he's brought to maybe it's a mantra, it's a way they do things up there that's been infused into the Ducks?
Yeah, not really. Mario Cristobal probably did more. He wanted to come up, get that big offensive line and pound that ball, that run game and toughness. Dan Lanning is really, I don't want to say brilliant because I don't want to overtalk the man, but he comes in with some credentials that are really impressive. He had a defense in Georgia that was, just the best in the nation, and he knows what it takes to get there. And I think it's going to take him a little while to get there, but he's got his guys understanding.
2 minutes.
If you'll follow me and do what I want you to do, we're going to get there. And I don't think he's doing it as an ex-Georgia guy or an SEC guy. I think he's trying to put his own imprint as Dan Lanning, the head coach at Oregon now.
Jerry, you're going to feel at home in Tucson this weekend. They're talking about rain, thunderstorms, 75 degrees. So this is good for Ducks. I mean, they love the water. Yeah.
I don't know. Look, if it's going to rain, I'm not coming down.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, we enjoyed it, man. Thanks for taking some time for us here. We appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. I love talking with you. Thanks.
That's the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen, joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910. He is driven by All City Towing. And if you're looking for a change, maybe you're looking for a new job, you're ready. You just can't stand your boss, and it's time to move on. And your wife's saying, you need a new job. Well, All City Towing is hiring. And all you need to do is just go to allcitytowing.com as they got full-time positions available across the board. They have incredible benefits. They got a 401k program. And the fastest way to apply is online at allcitytowing.com. Just search careers. You can always call the HR department. Manuch used to be an HR guy.
Yes,
Could you imagine calling All City Towing and Manuch answers the phone?
Oh, man.
Hey, welcome to All City Towing.
All City Towing, how
We're
the hell
hiring.
are you?
The thing is, you wouldn't be able to get off the phone. You're just calling to find out what jobs are available and what you need to do. You'd be like, you would waste so much time.
If I get a good resume and I get a good application there, we're talking. I'm
Well,
closing the deal
I
right
can
there.
promise you, you're not going to get Manuch. 480-833-7278. That's 480-833-7278. All City Towing and allcitytowing.com. Coming up here at Tempe Twin Peaks, Week 5 of the NFL season. You got the Broncos and the Colts. Russell Wilson and company off to a 2-2 start. Both wins coming at home. Colts enter this tilt 1-2-1. It's time for the Twin Peaks Picks. Easy to say. Powered by Coors Light and Blue Moon. We'll take the fifth caller. 602-260-9191. That's 602-260-9191. You'll compete against one of the young ladies here, Brianna, for a gift card, a Twin Peaks man card. And that's worth a few ice-cold Coors Light, man-sized beers. So we'll take fifth caller, 602-260-9191, right here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910.
to challenge one of the beautiful girls from Twin Peaks. It's Peaks Picks. The Twin Peaks girls are the essential ingredient to the perfect lodge experience. Each week, our girl next door Twin Peaks contestant takes on a Fox Sports 910 listener for 3 games. Get the most picks right and win a $25 man card for one of the 4 Valley Twin Peaks locations: Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale, and Tempe. Don't forget man-sized Coors Light draft specials every Thursday at Twin Peaks.
Beer.
Time for Peaks Picks.
Guys are hot.
That's right, Peaks Picks. We do Coors Light and we do Blue Moon. 22-ounce man-sized draft. $6 for the Blue Moon, $5.75 for the Coors Lights. Got specials throughout the entire weekend here at all 4 Valley locations. And this is a first for us, Manuch. This is a first for our Peaks Picks. We've never, ever had somebody do the show with us from Brazil.
Oh,
originally,
really?
Brianna is here from Brazil.
Brianna, I did not know that.
How long have you been in the United States?
For over 10 years.
Okay. We came over from Brazil. Well, welcome. That's
Welcome.
great.
Thank you.
How do you like
You're enjoying
Arizona?
it, right? So far, so good?
I don't like the summers. I usually
Okay.
go back over the summer,
Okay.
but other than that, it's good.
What is the biggest difference between Brazil and Tempe?
Lifestyle and like the people, extreme.
When you say the people, being nice, being, PG-13 or G-rated here on radio, what is the biggest difference in the people?
I don't know. I guess I'm used to more people are more like nicer to me, like on the streets in Brazil when I lived there. And then when I came out here, like a lot of people were rude. And so just
That's not good.
They're a little preoccupied. They're doing their own thing. They're not quite so homey as they are in
Yeah.
Brazil.
I guess I wasn't just used to like how like the way of life was here at
Sure,
first,
yeah.
and then like I easily adapted because like I came out here when I was younger.
So we're going to be doing some football picks. You're going to be competing against Steve in Peoria, okay? So when I say football, you don't think NFL, right? You think soccer, right?
Yes.
Well, did you grow up a football fan, soccer?
Oh, soccer fan, 100%.
Yeah.
Neymar, I love him.
Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Neymar is my favorite.
All right, this is what we're going to do. We have 3 games we're going to pick from. The first game is the game that we're going to have on the TVs tonight here at Twin Peaks, and that is the NFL game, which is the Colts and the Broncos. Indianapolis Colts are 1-2-1. They have a tie this year, and the Broncos are 2-2. Game's in Denver. Who do you think is going to win this game?
The Broncos.
Go with the Broncos?
Yeah,
Okay,
Broncos.
just go with Broncos. What'd Steve go with, Ben?
Broncos country. Let's
Okay,
ride.
2 Broncos.
okay, all
Okay.
right.
Now, Arizona State is hosting a game tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Great place to come before the games. Game starts at 1 o'clock. You can come on out here to Twin Peaks and Tempe. It's not that far. You get a quick Uber. You're right there. Washington Huskies are in town. Pretty good team. To face this Arizona State team, which has been struggling. Who do you like?
Washington.
How can you bet against the
Sun
team in
Devils,
your
man.
backyard?
After last week's game, it was embarrassing.
You watch the game, USC.
Yeah, I was here, I was working.
Yeah.
So like after seeing that, I was like, there's no coming back from that.
No coming back. All right. What's Steve going with?
ASU.
Oh,
Upset.
Okay.
Upset in the making.
All right. Then on Sunday, our last game, and this is where you need to kind of give us the score of the game that you think is going to happen. Okay.
Okay.
So the Cardinals are going to host. The Arizona Cardinals are going to host the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to come into town, and we need the team that's going to win and the overall score of that game.
I'm gonna say it's probably Philadelphia. They're undefeated, right?
Yes, they are. Very good. Manuch, you should pay attention.
I'm listening, man. Oh, man.
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be like 32 Philadelphia to 17 Cardinals.
Okay. All right. And how about what did Steve go with?
Steve said he'll take the Cardinals 30-17.
Okay. All right. So those are the picks. They're in. And Brianna from Brazil joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. So very good. So tell us what time's happy hour and when are you typically here? So if any of our listeners are watching us on our streaming, wants to come by and be in your section, ask for you, and maybe somebody from Brazil that just moved here and looking to meet some new friends, when are you normally here?
Oh well, I'm normally here mainly on the weekends, working
Okay.
the nights.
Okay.
I tend to work mornings during the weekdays,
Got it.
but I'm gonna be here all day Sunday for sure.
All day Sunday for football here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. Well, Rihanna, thank you. Thanks for playing along with us. Good luck to you, and we're glad that you're enjoying it here in the United States. You'll be here forever.
We hope the people are nicer to you out there on the road.
We got to work
You hear
on
that, folks? Be nice out there. Crying out loud.
Jeez. Again, it's Twin Peaks Peaks. We want to thank Blue Moon and Coors Light. We do it each and every week. As we kind of go back, did you happen to pull up the stats, Jax, on how we're doing here? So we kind of want to get an update because coming up in hour number 3, we'll do our underdog picks. But when it comes to our fan pick'em, which is part of Twin Peaks, as well as how the Peak Girls have done over the course of the year. Last week, I'm not sure. Ben, I know we had a Martin Gonzalez last week. Do you know if he won or lost?
Martin Gonzalez came out on top last week. It came to the last game between the Panthers and the Cardinals. The Twin Peaks girl took the Panthers, and he rode home with the Cardinals.
Good for Martin.
So the overall right now, it's a 2-game winning streak for the listener so far. 2-game winning streak. What's the overall?
The overall, I'm still looking for it. So
Okay, I'll get it then. I'll give it to you then. So the ladies have won 1, 2, 3. They've won 3 times, and our listeners have won 4 times. So 3 and 4 is where we're at through 7 weeks so far in our picks. And then our Twin Peaks fan pick'em. Can you give us an update on that?
So the winner from last week, I got you, Rock, was
come on, Rook. So I told him, I said, can you get the picks for me? I mean, I could easily do it. He wants airtime.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know if you wanted our individual or if you wanted the fan as well that won. So the fan that won this week's fan pick'em was Bruce Meyer, Speedo Jackson, Brandon McQueen, and Shane Schlitzler.
Actually, let me stand corrected. Yeah. Those are our winners of the last 4 weeks.
Okay, so then
Shane won last week. It's right on the lineup, right? You're making this more. You're making this harder than it needs to be.
Jax,
so let me start over. Welcome back, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on Fox Sports 910. We got Jax with us, who has now been demoted to the intern.
Yes,
status.
he is now.
He was part of the show. So give us an update on how we are all doing in the fan pick'em, all the hosts.
Okay.
Of the show.
So
Jax.
in first place is Mike Bauer.
Okay.
40 of 63.
Okay.
Second place is Rock, 37 of 63.
Sitting good.
And then Barney's at third.
That's intern Barney on Mondays.
Fourth is Jimmy B. Fifth, Mike Gross. 6, Manuch.
Are you in this league? Are you playing?
Oh, I'm coming up. Yeah. 7, Ben. 8, myself. Coming in at the 8 spot. And then 9, Darren. I know. It took a while. there.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it. But in Fantasy League, I am in first place. That's
Really?
all that matters.
Okay.
Bring home that TV to moi.
Fantasy. Do you have some... Do you have a rundown on fantasy?
Oh, yeah. I'm in first place. Jimmy B is in 4th. Manuch is in 6th. Mike Gross 7th.
I got to be in the bottom.
9th, Bauer. 12th, Rock. And then last place, good old Ben.
What do you want me to do? My entire team is injured. All right? There's not much I can do about that.
Make some trades. Right?
1 minute.
That's what it's all about.
Waiver wire moves.
Yeah, let me go ahead and trade you broken leg Alvin Kamara and then Brian Robinson, who got shot for a player. Thanks, guys.
The best part is Jimmy B only picked his first pick, and the rest was auto draft, and he is currently in 4th place.
Wow.
And Ben did his research, and he's in last.
I want to remind you, AZTV Channel 7 is your new home for college football here
30
in
seconds.
Arizona. They're featuring schools that have produced some of the game's best athletes, great football, high energy, halftime bands, and coverage you won't find any other station. That is AZTV Channel 7. Coming up, we have our dog picks, and we'll catch up with Howard Balzer. Talk Arizona Cardinal football.
10 seconds.
Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, intern Jax, and Ben back to the iHeartMedia.
At least he didn't fire you, Jax.
and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Roth. In Iraq and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrow.com. Now time for Calling All
You guys are hot.
with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Hope you're having a good Thursday. Appreciate you popping in, hanging out with us for a little while here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. I'm Roc along with Manuch. Got Jimmy B, got Jax. We decided during the break to rehire him.
Did we rehire him?
Yeah,
Bringing him back.
after his gaffe at during the last segment of the show.
Just a simple request. Just pull up the
He had like 3 segments to figure it out.
My goodness gracious.
It was written right in front of him, So anyway, this is a learning experience.
It happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, we are live from the Twin Peaks in Tempe. We're also video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So just search Roc and Manuch. That's ROC and then MANUCH. And you can check that out as we're here each and every Thursday at a different location. There's 4 current Twin Peaks locations. There's going to be a 5th coming up here in Deer Valley. But we're at the Tempe location. And we'll be here for another hour, getting you ready for tonight's Thursday night game. And kick off the weekend, kick off football here at Twin Peaks. And happy hour has just started about 3 minutes ago. Jimmy B's not here. Where'd he go?
I'm still here.
Oh, there he is.
I'm
Okay.
still here.
Taking advantage of that. 575, 22-ounce man size. I mean, which is,
for
you
me,
need 2 hands, right?
For me,
to lift
well,
those things.
I
It's
would.
so big.
I would need 2 hands to lift it. That's why I get the child size.
You get the kid size, yeah. But we are very grateful to have Blue Moon and Coors Light as a partner of ours and Twin Peaks here. I do want to get to our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. What must the Cardinals offense need to do to beat the Eagles? What must the Cardinals do to beat the Eagles? And your 4 choices that Manuch put together: commit to the run, more Kyler run plays, quick passing game. And when you say quick passing game, Manuch, what do you kind of
Quick
expand?
slants, hitches like a
Dink and dunk stuff?
No, dink and dunk. Yeah,
Okay.
dink and dunk.
3-step drops.
Yeah, 3-step, 1-step.
And then screen draw plays. Isn't that kind of similar to that?
Not really, because
No.
the screen and draw plays, it draws, hand it off to the running back. And,
Okay.
And then the screens
The
basically.
screen, wouldn't that be a dink and dunk?
Well, but you allow the
Yes
play
or no?
to-
Would that be like a dink
no,
and dunk?
No, would not.
The screen would not be that.
No, would not.
When
You
you're
got quarterback.
Quarterback comes out of that, and you just dinking it to him. That's the screen play.
You're,
Now,
trying to bring the defensive lineman toward the quarterback, and when they make that commitment,
You dink and dunk.
That's when the
No, you
back
don't.
jumps out and they loft it over those lines.
Isn't a dink and dunk just a little 5-yard play?
No. What
7-yard play?
You want the rush to come in on Tyler,
Top-
and then he
yes.
dump it outside to the tight end or the receiver, or on a slip screen, he can get it where the running back slides out to the right side.
There you
got to
go.
hook down the field, get it outside. This team, I think that the one thing that I was surprised that Cliff Kingsbury did, being down, was he committed to the run last week. And this team had, 176 yards rushing.
Yes.
So I think to slow this offense down in Philadelphia's ball control, the offense, you got to commit to the run if you're going to have any kind of success to slow that front seven down in Philadelphia. It's one of the best front sevens on defense in the National Football League, led by Hassan Reddick, former Arizona Cardinal, went to the Panthers, now at the Eagles.
Defensive player of the week last week.
Exactly
the
right.
guy, he's loving it. He grew up right across over the Ben Franklin Bridge in Camden, New Jersey. And, of course, former Cardinal, Temple. Now he's playing for the Eagles. How great is that to play for the team that you grew up, idolizing?
Yeah.
And he's really playing well.
But they got to figure out a way to slow that rush down. But the other thing, too, guys, is that this Eagles defense is one of the worst as far as run defenses, giving up almost like 5 yards per carry. So you can run on them. It's just very difficult. You get in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 situations to throw on them. But you look at Jacksonville last week. Doug Peterson had their number for about 3 quarters.
He did.
And he knew this defense. He did the same thing. They did a lot of screens. They ran. Trevor Lawrence,
A lot of
quick
dink and
passing
dunk.
game. Well, that's how but they went down on him. All of a sudden, they started coming to this team, started to make the comeback. He tried to go back to throw longer passing routes, and then this pass rush got all over Trevor Lawrence. Game, set, match at that particular point in time.
4 fumbles for Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence. 4 fumbles.
They create a lot of turnovers. They only have as a team,
Yeah.
Philadelphia 2, and they create so many turnovers. They create havoc with the Hassan Reddicks of the world and this defense. So This Cardinal team, to match the physicality, I think that you brought that up earlier, Jimmy, is they're going to have to match physicality.
Yep.
Talk about this, one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League, if not the best. They're healthy, and one of the best front sevens in the National Football League. Therein lies a team that's 4-0. Not that they haven't had their struggles, but they tend to just take over games in the fourth quarter. And then Jalen Hurts is just throwing the ball very well, running the ball very well. So they're probably the best, I'm going to say one of the most balanced, if not the best balanced football team in the National Football League.
You know,
right now.
you say, I think people say that, and you're hearing that a lot from the talking heads, but being a fan of the Eagles, I don't believe that so much, because you saw what happened in Detroit. They almost blew that.
Mm-hmm.
They were behind 14-0 last week in Jacksonville. They're not quite there yet.
They are, but when you see some of the other teams that are out there that are
Harity
and
you know,
but I mean they're finding a way to win, and that's the whole thing. They're finding a way to come back. The Detroit game, yeah, it's like a shot.
Like you can make a case for the Cardinals. They're finding a way to win. The 2 wins that they got, they found a way to win.
Well, they have, and that's why you're at 2-2. They've found, they found a little bit of grace in getting some of those wins by making the comeback. That's why I think this is going to be a good game. I think the Cardinals are five and a half dog.
Five and a half
dog
at home.
At home.
I got it at 6.
Wow.
Did you get it at 6?
I got it Monday at 6.
That's good.
So, again, long road trip for Philadelphia. Cardinals figure if they do some of the things in reference to starting off quick if they can, if their defense doesn't get confused and bludgeoned by this offensive line, because Miles Sanders, if you haven't checked, is having a pretty good year.
Yeah, I would say
so
so.
far, and taking a lot of pressure. I think some of that pressure off of Jalen Hurts. On top of that, they haven't really had to win with his arm, but he's making some big and some key throws when he's had to make them. And that kid, on as far as getting on the perimeter, running the ball very well too.
I'll reference something from years ago when Charles Barkley was still playing, and this is the 1992 Dream Team. And Barkley was at a press conference, and somebody asked him about their next opponent. And the question was, you're going to play Angola. Barkley says, I don't know nothing about Angola, but they're in trouble. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you're Jalen Hurts, he could stand at the microphone and say, I don't know anything about the Arizona Cardinals, but they're in trouble. And they are in this game on Sunday.
And I would agree to you, Jimmy, but just when we say that National Football League, how many times have we thought that?
I understand.
With teams going somewhere and then that other team getting an upper hand. But I think if this team in Philadelphia is such a good team, even if they got down, I'll be curious to see how they can go ahead and come back and beat the Cardinals. And on the other side, if the Cardinals get up.
They were down by 14 to Jacksonville and came back.
And
exactly right.
And then blitzed them. They were ahead by halftime. But the point I'm making is, and you guys know this, and Manuch, you played it. Rock, you and I have been covering it forever. It's about matchups.
Sure.
And this is a team in the Eagles, which is a bad matchup for the Arizona Cardinals.
It sure is.
It's on paper, it's a bad matchup. Now, I know you don't play the game on paper, but if you look at it like that, things do not look good, and that's why you got it at 6 points, and now it's 5.5.
I think the last time we said something like that was a Thursday night game. We're at the Twin Peaks of Glendale when Denver came in. It was Josh Rosen's first year as a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Denver came in, and we talked about this is not a good matchup for the Cardinals. I'm obviously got a rookie quarterback in Josh Rosen, and Von Miller and all were pretty much lighting it up after like 3 or 4 games. They came in here, I think it was 35-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
You just hope you don't see something like that, because if you do, then this Cardinals team has got a long way to go. But I still think that they're very fortunate to be 2-2. Easily could have been 0-4. Be that as it may, they've won them. So with the parity where the things are at,
3 minutes.
If the Cardinals can just figure out a way to control the clock a little bit early on, and I would take the damn ball on the opening kickoff.
I would too, Manuch.
Take the ball, man. You got all that.
Go.
Let's just go show them. Yeah, you ain't so bad.
Yeah.
To pretty much take that ball down the field and try to get some scoring early on. That's the only way you're going to beat this team, because you don't want to get in a shootout with Philadelphia. They won't allow you to. They'll just control the clock with their running game, with their tight ends, and with this big offensive line, and just kind of dictate to you what they're going to do the whole game.
Another thing I'm going to be curious to see, J.J. Watt, even after the AFib incident, he had a terrific game in Carolina. I wonder how that's going to transfer over against Philadelphia. because as you just referenced, their offensive line is that good. And when you're working against the Lane Johnsons and the Jason Kelce's of the world
right.
on that offensive line, these guys are all pros, and they know how to play against other all-pros, which
1
J.J.
minute.
Watt used to be.
I think Kelsey's the smallest guy.
2 minutes,
20,
sorry.
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's just big dude.
They're all big
They're all big guy, and they lean on you the entire game.
Yeah.
Coming up, it's one of our favorite segments of the week. It's all about the dogs, our underdog picks of the week from Twin Peaks here in Tempe, and it's brought to you by the new Sportsbook in the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. We'll get into that next. It's Fox Sports 910.
The question is, who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Most weekend bettors prefer to lay their money down on favorites because they can't get their head around backing an underdog. Not Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. They're all about the dogs. Time now for the guys' dog picks of the week on Fox Sports.
Guys are hot.
All right, let's dive to it. Our underdog picks of the week. As a recap from last week, I had Rutgers getting 40.5. Rutgers was beat by 40.
Get the hook,
I'll
man.
take the hook, baby.
Yeah,
Take the hook.
You got it.
Manuch, Bills at Ravens +3. You won that. Jags at Philly. Jags were getting 6.5. Jimmy lost that and the side bet to me. Ben, New England +9.5 to cover against the Packers. He won that. And Jax had Middle Tennessee State. I think that's coached by Eddie George, right? Head coach there?
It's true.
+4 on University of Texas San Antonio at home, and they lost. So Jax is 0-4. What we're doing here, we do it each and every week. We are personally donating $25 to the Humane Society for all of our losses. So we'll donate $25 to each to the Arizona Humane Society. So are looking to hopefully get someone to match it, but right now we're going with that. So for this week, Ben, let's get us started.
Let's start with the guy who grew up playing tennis, and his dog Guinness beat him last year in the fan pickup.
Hey, guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Rock, you got a lock?
Yeah, I do. I'm 4-0, and I was kind of torn. I put 2 of them down, but I only can take 1, right?
Yes, correct. Just 1.
So Auburn is getting 30.
Yes.
At Georgia. Georgia can score. I know they can. I'm sorry. That's just a lot of points.
Sure is.
And I'm hoping my friend Brian Harsin, who's the head coach, who unfortunately it sounds as though he may not be back after this year.
Right.
Who used to be the head coach at
Boise
State, who I think would be a perfect match for Arizona State down the road. He was able to turn Boise State into a football powerhouse. So it'd be cool if he could do that here at Arizona State. So I'm going to go Auburn. My backup was going to be I was going to take the 14 that Arizona State's getting against Washington.
All right, just let me caution you about that, because 2 weeks ago I took South Carolina at home hosting Georgia, and the line was 24.5, and they beat them by 622.
I know it's a stretch. I just you got to take a chance. I mean, it's just
but
like
that
I
was
said last week
that
with
was
Rutgers,
South Carolina. To see this Auburn,
still SEC though. Any way you look at it, it's an SEC school. It's not like be different. It was like I don't know Vanderbilt.
When was the last time you saw Auburn a plus 30 against anybody?
I know. That's why I just it just stood out.
It's mind-boggling.
It doesn't make sense.
I know. I'm with you.
It doesn't make sense.
So,
Manuch, you played the game, so this should be a no-brainer.
They're all my dogs.
Give us your dog of the week.
All right, I'm going to go. I got Seattle's plus 5.5 at the Saints. I'm going to go Seattle. After last week, after Rashard Penny went off, they scored 48 points. They win 48-45 over to Detroit. And you look at the Saints team, okay, they're somewhat up and down, but I just think that Pete Carroll, he pounds the running game. I look at Geno Smith. He's playing some good, solid football, but I'm going to go with Seattle as the dog on the road. Since they're getting 5.5.
All right, Jimmy.
Finally, he's not Jimmy the Greek, but he's been calling the game for over 40 years.
What about the dogs?
Jimmy B, what's your underdog pick of the week?
Well, you guys are going to love this, because I'm going to go for the Western Kentucky at UTSA. So how many people out there even know what UTSA stands for? It is the University of Texas San Antonio, who, by the way, just pasted Middle Tennessee State.
It's a game that he picked last week.
After Middle Tennessee State had beaten Miami at Miami. So I'm going with UTSA at home, and they are a dog, and I'm getting 6.5. So that's who I'm going to roll with right now.
And I want to note that looking at these this morning, that over-under in that game is the highest for Week 6 in college football. It's 72.5. So for those of you that like to bet over-unders, that's your over-under.
First one to 55 wins that game.
Pretty much.
I'm going to bet that. I'm going to take the under. When you see these big, huge over-unders, they tend to lose. They're like sucker bets.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's Ben, what are you going with?
This is part of my best of the week on my TikTok Talk Sports.
This is one
of my favorite.
Don't you be promoting your podcast BS on this show.
Really, man?
We don't promote.
Make sure you do not follow me on there.
Stuff on this show.
Whatever you do, make sure you do not follow that. That is actually what I was going for before you guys so rudely interrupted me with my big pick here. But the Giants are getting 8 Ben's best bet of the week on a TikTok you shouldn't follow, Benjamin Talk Sports. But the Giants are getting plus 8 here across the pond, and I'm the only one that's a little confused here because the Packers were plus 9.5 against the Patriots last week and didn't cover the spread there. Now they're going to get 8 points against either Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor. And also the Packers, here's a fun fact for you, have 20 points scored in the second half this year. That's roughly 2.5 points a quarter in the second half with Aaron Rodgers. Give me the Giants to cover 8.5.
Are you done promoting? Are you done? You sure? I mean, what?
Benjamin Talk Sports, TikTok.
Yeah, isn't that like? Doesn't he go to? He's got to go to Kangaroo Court over something like that. We'll
Something.
look at that. All right, Jax, what do you got going on this week? Are you going to finally mix in a win?
I know, right? I'm 0-4 in college, so I'm going to decide
Going to
to
the
go into the
NFL
National
then.
Football League, change it up a little bit. I'm going to go Lions +3 against the Patriots. I mean, this Patriots team, third-string quarterback Bailey Zappi is the
So
start.
it's Zappy.
Zappy.
Okay.
I believe
Yeah.
it's Zappy.
Zappy.
The Lions have the #1 scoring offense in the NFL. They're 1-3. I don't see this team going 1-4 with Jared Goff, who's having a great
Sure
year.
is.
He is.
Having a great year. Give me the Lions +3.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that defense wins championships. You can have all the offense in the world, Detroit Lions, which is kind of fun to see him score some points. I love them Dan Campbell's pressers after the game.
They're
too.
great.
You know, we sucked, or
Yeah.
he's very honest. But I got to tell you what, that is that's when it was Zappy looking to start that game. You'd love, with Campbell, you'd love to see this guy go on a winning streak.
I would
I
love
love
to see
that
it.
guy.
I would love to see it. He's terrific. The players have really responded to him, and he has made Detroit Lions football credible again.
Hey, a recap of our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question today. What must the Cardinals offense need to do to beat the Eagles? Commit to the run, more Kyler run plays, quick passing game, or screen and draw plays. Overwhelming votes are on Kyler run plays, just close to 78%, tied with commit to run and quick passing. No one on the dink and dunk screen draw plays. So there you have it. Go to State 48 Roofing if you need a check on that roof with these storms. Go to state48roofing.com. You can always follow them on Twitter, Instagram. Just search Sexy Roof Status.
Once
There you have
again,
it.
draw plays are not dink and dunk. You set the play up. Guys drop back, draw here or there. I mean,
What do you
gotta
know
set
about
that-
being a quarterback?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
seriously, I what I said, it goes. It's
Yeah.
a dink and dunk.
Yeah.
When I hear screenplay,
That's not
that's a dink and dunk.
No, it's
How
not.
far is the scrplay typically? How many yards?
Yeah, but dink and
How many
dunk.
yards? Just answer that.
Screenplays behind the line of scrimmage.
That's a dink and dunk.
It could
No,
be-
it's behind the line of scrimmage.
Yes,
dink
the
and dunk is 5 yards.
Running back,
past the
running
line
back
of
comes out.
scrimmage.
Your running back comes out. Right, he's
No,
going to the
no,
sideline.
no.
Before he gets over, Kyler's just going to dink and dunk. A little screenplay right there.
Somebody
He might-
tackle Rock.
You might dump it off.
Yes, see, I win.
But
Thank you.
on the tight
Dink and dunk screen. He may dump it off.
on a screen,
That's exactly
on a
what I was
tight end
saying.
screen, the quarterback will drop back. He'll almost be like 10, 12 yards. As the rush comes in, he'll throw it about 10 yards before the line of scrimmage so the tight end can catch that ball from there. Dink
But
and
when,
dunk is-
but when you're just tossing it, just like before he goes,
West Coast offense,
No,
here,
no.
there.
I'm just saying, if your running back is basically hike, you're in the you're in a shotgun,
Yeah.
and the running back kind of getting ready to go. He's going to the right, going to the left, and you're popping to him right real quick. That's kind of a dunk,
Well,
right?
it's the
Is that a screen?
if you're thinking,
Would that be a screen?
No,
Because it's on this side of the.
Okay, that's the thing. Jimmy, I got this. Here's the thing. Basically, dink and dunk is thrown beyond the line of scrimmage.
That is correct.
So behind the line of
3
scrimmage,
minutes.
your draws and screen.
That's
you're
not a
dinking
that's
and
a
dunking.
dump though.
No, it's not a dump pass. You kind of fake it. If he's like 5-6 yards, you let the line come in on you and you dump it over their arms so he catches it.
But what
He
if
goes
he's
down.
still on this side of the line of scrimmage?
That's fine. He has to.
Then
be on
that's
this
a
side of
dink
the
and dunk. That's a screen.
It's in the vernacular of
But
a passing
I'm
game.
technically kind of right.
No,
I'm not, I mean, I
No,
understand your. I
technically
know.
you're
Understand. No, to your definition, that it has to be on this side of the line of scrimmage.
yeah.
And he's just tossing it over. You said they're bringing in the defense.
Yes.
Correct.
3-4 yards.
Yep.
It happens that there's that running back sitting there before he crosses the line of scrimmage, and he's tossing it over, dumping it over that lineman.
Yeah.
That's a dink and dunk, or better yet, a screen.
And he could be 5 yards or he could be 10 yards away.
exactly, but he
Well,
could
behind the
also
line of
be on
scrimmage.
this side of the line of
Yeah,
scrimmage.
but in the football vernacular, the dink and dunk is quick out, quick slant,
Screen.
screen. No, not a
No.
screen outside. Not a screen outside. You tried. Yeah. Now, you can do a smoke screen outside where the receiver takes a step back, you give it to him, and the lineman get out there to block. So I think that the short passing
minutes.
game is going to definitely be important. But if you're going to beat the Eagles, you've got to commit to the running game like you did last week.
Hey, if you like overs, these four teams have yet to play in a game that went the under in points total. That's Rice, Bowling Green, Northern Illinois, University of Texas San Antonio,
Yep.
and Washington. If you like the unders, then these teams are for you. Georgia, Virginia, Colorado State, Georgia Tech, Michigan, and Virginia Tech. Now, 5 teams remain perfect against the spread this year. That's Arkansas State, James Madison, Kansas, and TCU. And then 4 teams that are still searching for their first cover: Colorado, Colorado State, Fresno State, and Stanford. And the pillow fight of the week is between Connecticut and Florida International, as the Huskies are favored by 5.
1 minute.
Say it ain't so. KU 4-0. I mean, these days of Mark Mangino back in the day when he was coaching there and getting things turned around there at KU. But KU, maybe that KU K-State game will have some traction to it this year.
Hey, no one does happy hour better than our folks here at Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference is, they have everything from tequila cocktails to an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits, cocktails served all over those cool ice balls, plus Coors Light, Blue Moon, man-sized drafts on Thursdays. You can take advantage of that. And they're 29 degrees with the Blue Moon and the Coors Light man-sized drafts, and they're on special right now at all 4 locations. Well, the Cardinals will be facing probably, it's an argument, the best team in the NFL this week. Could be the Kansas City, could be the Philadelphia Eagles, could be someone else, but it should be a good one. What do they need to do to slow down this offense for Philadelphia? We'll catch up with Howard Balzer next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
I mean, it's a great opportunity for us. Started off slow this season.
Guys are hot. 5 seconds.
Season, second quarter. I think it's a great opportunity. Got a great team coming in. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best. This is an opportunity for us.
Kyler Murray talking about the next opponent, being the Philadelphia Eagles, be in town on Sunday. Howard Balzer joins us now, talks some Cardinal football. You can catch him at gophnx.com, and he's always on Twitter at hbalzer721. He joins us here on a Thursday. How you doing, buddy? What's going on today?
Doing well. Hope you guys are doing well also.
Hey, I want to ask you a typical press conference with the quarterback, okay? As long as you've been doing this, when you were St. Louis Rams, Cardinals here, when do you usually get to the opponent when you're asking questions with the quarterback? Because in Philadelphia yesterday with Jalen Hurts, Jalen had to say something towards the end because no one was asking about the opponent, the Cardinals. They all want to know about the Manning cast that he did on Monday night.
Well, it's important to Philly people, right? I mean, that's big time stuff there when you're on the Manning cast. So I guess it's pretty mixed, and usually Kyler, Murray's not going to have to talk on his own about the coming team. That someone will ask, about them, but a lot of some weeks depends on what the big story is. I mean, heck, that week after the Raiders game, I mean, my recollection is there was so much talking about that and all those things that it took a while to get into it. But it, and a lot of times it goes back and forth in terms of asking this and that, and everybody's got different questions that they want to ask or an angle that they are pursuing for a story. So you always have to, keep that in mind that, everybody might be, thinking of something else. Like for example, this is a little away from the question, but like today, for example, talking with Vance Joseph, and he's asked about the defense, how he thinks, what about how the challenge of the Eagles offense. And I had noticed about how both these teams right now are in the top of the league in number of fourth down attempts that they've done in the league. And so I figured I'm going to do something on that, not just about the teams, but about how the numbers are up around the NFL. So I asked Vance Joseph about that, what he's seen over these last number of years, where every year the number of fourth down attempts goes up. And so he had a pretty good answer. And I said, okay, now I got a good quote for the story I'm doing. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. But
okay.
Does it get to the end of the press conference where Kyler Murray or whoever has to bring up the other team, to talk about the game that's on the horizon.
I'm not going to tell that's the humility in that young man too. It's like, okay, this is all good, folks. We've got a game, and it's the Arizona Cardinals. And when you see a young man like this, I think developing very quickly in front of our eyes. Not to mention, he's got a pretty good group of support around him with this Philadelphia Eagles team. Which therein lies my question that this, I think, one of the most balanced offenses in the league. Speaking of Vance Joseph, he's going to definitely have his work cut out for him trying to stop this juggernaut offense go up and down the field.
No, I think you're 100% right. And the one thing that, of course, they bring to the table is the ability for Jalen Hurts to run the football. And so, you can have the other aspects of it, pretty well defended, whether it's the running game, and Miles Sanders is off to an excellent start running the ball. They've added A.J. Brown, obviously, to the receiver core, and he's, he has 25 receptions already in 4 games, and he's helping make Devontae Smith even better and make big steps from his rookie year. So you have all that, and Dallas Goedert at tight end, and then boom, like I said, you've got Jalen Hurts, who if the play isn't there, can take off and run, and that always makes it difficult. Not only for the defensive coordinator, because, you can plan all you want, right? And say, well, here's what they'll do on second and long. Here's what they do on 1st and 10. Here's what we expect and all that. But you can't plan for those runs. You can know what's coming. You can say, well, here's what we want to do. But you don't know when they're going to happen. And that's what makes it a wild card, just like when teams are playing Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. And so do you put a spy on them, which, can be done, but then then that can hurt in some other aspects of the offense, and that's what makes this team, so tough to defend so far. And they have their offensive line is playing well, and so you put it all together, and this is going to be a handful, obviously, like you said, and I think the Cardinal defense, I mean, they've done pretty well against top guys from week 2 on. I mean, they limited Devontae Adams. They really limited Cooper Kupp and the Rams. Last Sunday, Christian McCaffrey really didn't do much in that game. I don't know that there's just one guy on this team that you say, well, this is the guy we have to account for. This is the guy we want to stop, because they have so many of them. And when you have that, that's a tough offense to play.
You'll remember this line, Howard, because when we worked together in Las Vegas and we were hanging around with Mike Tyson, Tyson had the great quote. He says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And I've never forgotten that. My question to you is we saw emotions explode, and it happens between players and coaches, but it was about the play calling and about how fast they were getting the plays into Kyler Murray so he wouldn't have to go to the line of scrimmage and then all of a sudden call timeout. Can they get that fixed for this game, or is that still going to be an issue?
Well, I think, there's things that happen in games, and obviously he was hoping it would come in, the plays would come in faster, down and distance game situations certainly are a part of it. And sometimes I wonder, man, how did that play clock expire or get down so low so fast? And so I wonder sometimes if there's some of that. But yeah, I mean, they're always working on it. But, again, that's, you can work on that in practice, right? But it's still not the game. It's not game situations where everything's moving fast and everything's moving quickly. And so when you get frustrated, you get a little frustrated. But, I think for the most part, these guys are on the same page. They certainly made, enough plays to win that game last Sunday. But, yeah, you don't want too much of that because, hey, in some games you might need that timeout. And that's what you want to definitely avoid. And I think it just comes with, playing more games together. And even though this is the 4th year together in NFL parlance, that's not that long. And so they're still growing as a quarterback and a head coach in terms of working together. And it continues to be a work in progress.
Howard, does Cliff Kingsbury have it in him? Can he because a lot of times he can't resist not to commit to the run. Can he do it 2 weeks in a row, commit to the run, and stay on course? Because he's like that little kid in the candy shop. I'm going to get to that candy, the chocolates in the back. But in the meantime, I'm going to save my appetite and wait. But now he's eating candy as he goes down the aisle before he gets there. He wants to throw. But if he commits, he just resists himself. They have a chance of winning this game.
Well, I think a big thing, and it will definitely be a huge factor on Sunday, is how banged up this Cardinals offensive line is right now, going against one of the better fronts in the NFL. And so that is going to be, I think, the key to the game is how that offensive line plays and who plays. Is Justin Pugh, Justin Pugh and Rodney Hudson haven't even practiced this week. DJ Humphries has been limited. So you're going against guys with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and Hargrave and guys like that. That's a hell of a front. And that's a big factor with that Eagles defense. So to run the ball, protect Kyler Murray, whatever it is, that line has to play well in this game. And so, running
3 minutes.
They did run it well late when they had the lead, which is certainly when you run. But, I think we have to get accustomed to the fact that even though they'll run here and there, for the most part, they're going to throw the football. That's the way they approach the game. You'd like to see some more runs in there, but the running game has to be successful also. A lot of coaches aren't going to bang their head against the wall if the running back, is just getting 2 or 3 yards. But, I think they did a little better, at that last week. But that, this is going to be a different. Well, I mean, Carolina's a good defense. Don't get me wrong, but this is going to be a different group that they've got to figure out how they're going to make this work. Like I said, against that defensive line.
All right, let me follow up then with the health then of the Arizona Cardinals. AJ Green is back. Did you have a chance to talk to him at practice, or was there feedback on that? And then they let Andy Isabella walk. and he was only gone for like a few hours, and Baltimore Ravens picked him up. Let's start first with the health factor with A.J. Green.
2 minutes.
And Wesley is back as well.
Right. Yeah, Wesley's back. We don't know if he's going to be going to be activated yet, but the belief is that he will be, but he's been practicing. A.J. Green, we only see about 20 minutes of practice, so you can just see him running around a little bit. He looked pretty good. They're hopeful of having him back, so certainly that will be a lift for the offense. Isabella, I believe, he was signed to the practice squad, and so that's where he is. So we'll see if he ends up having any impact on the Ravens. Although it was interesting that it wasn't even it was said that it was done yesterday, but on the official NFL personnel report today, he is not on there on the practice squad or having signed a contract. So don't know totally what's up with that, but he obviously wasn't going to make an impact. Disappointing thing is Rondale Moore was added to the injury report today as being limited now with a knee injury. And so you're going, oh my goodness, what's happening there? Is this something that might affect him on Sunday? So it just seems the team can't avoid, they looked after like
1 minute.
Like they were starting to get healthy. And then all of a sudden you get this guy hurt and then this guy, and Justin Pugh leaves last week's game. And so that's, that could end up, being a factor, certainly. And, we'll see, see how it plays out. Obviously they're going to be going with a new kicker. This is interesting. It looks like both teams are going to have not their regular kickers in the game. And so Matt Amendola will be doing it for the Cardinals. And he was cut, by the way, guys, after, week 3, when the Chiefs lost to the Colts by 3 points, and Amendola missed an extra point and a 34-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. And then they released him from the practice squad in the next couple of days after that game, and brought in a new guy that's replacing the injured Harrison Butker. So who knows? If it's a close game, man, you send Amendola out there, you have no clue what's going to happen. Last year with the Jets, he kicked up for 11 games and was 2 for 5 between the 40s and in the 40 to 49, and 0 for 3 from 50 plus. So you want confidence when you send a guy out there for a 40-yarder, 40 plus, whatever it is, that he's going to be able to make it. So who knows if that could end up being a factor in the game Sunday. And the Eagles are going to have a guy, they've nicknamed him in Philadelphia. His name's Cameron Dicker.
Yep.
So they call him Dicker the Kicker.
Let's go, Dicker. Yeah, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, me too.
We'll wait for happy hour to get into that one. Howard, real quick.
I was on a radio station in Philadelphia, and they were asking me about the guy. I said, "You're asking me about a guy named Dicker, and my name is Balzer."
We'll leave it at that, Howard.
Yeah,
thank you,
Howard.
bud. Hey, if you want some more Balzer, go to Balzer721, and always you can check them out at GoPH and at phnx.com. Coming up, our Learner Row 1 call and our 72 sold What's on Tap for tonight. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B coming to you from the Tempe Twin Peaks. Thanks to Coors Light and Blue Moon. yesterday talking about this Cardinal football team.
Since nobody else would talk about it.
Yeah.
Just cracks me up. Yeah, what else you got going on? Guys, time out. We got this game coming up Sunday against the Cardinals, who could be pretty threatening. I love his humility to bring it all back to reality. Hey, look.
It's because fans have lost their minds already in Philly. They just think that their team can just get off the bus and the game's over. They've won. It's that simple. That's the mentality of the fan.
They saw that just a few short years ago.
That's correct.
When Carson Wentz was there, and then I forget the backup quarterback came in. Foles came in.
Nick Foles.
But that was that team.
Yeah.
They started off. They were on a roll.
Yep.
And then Wentz goes down, but Foles picks up right where they left off, and they dominated through the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then look what they did to Brady in that Super Bowl. They got all over him. So, and you got to, I don't know. It'll yet to prove to see if they've got that good of a team, because that was a hell of a team receiving wise, and I think you had what Shady McCoy and receiving core. I mean, they were just flat loaded.
Was Deshaun Jackson on that team?
It might have been.
I think he was a wide receiver.
Doug Peterson, and you had Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
I mean, that's like that perfect storm.
Yep.
That came together. Now they might have that. I think Sirianni as the head coach, some of the creative stuff he does is I like it. He tight ends, receivers, but he commits to the running game.
Yeah.
And I think that's what opens up. And then he's got this special kid at quarterback that can run the hell out of him and get on the perimeter. They use him just enough to create plays. So a couple teams, do they mirror each other? Kind of, sort of, offensively. Defensively, Philadelphia's defense is just, they got the ears pinned back. And you just heard Howard Balzer say, we got a banged up offensive line with the Cardinals.
Right.
Well, they're healthy. And they're very physical on the front seven of Philadelphia. They better be able to handle that, or Kyler Murray's going to have a long day.
He's going to be running for his life.
Well, that's why I think they need to roll him out, waggle him, boot him, sprint him out, keep him out of harm's way, because if you try to play drop back on these guys, then you're going to be in for a long, long night. So we'll see. That's why I think you got to draw on screen once in a while. Keep that pass rush honest.
Let's don't have that argument again.
Draw on screen, mix in a little dink and dunk, mix in a couple shots down the road, Keep it. You got to use the full.
All right, let's get to what's on tap. Brought to you by 72.
What's on tap? Powered by 72 Soul. A look at the top sports action tonight on TV. Get our price, a higher price at 72soul.com.
All right, tonight here on Amazon, Twin Peaks, of course, Florida Valley locations. Colts, third place in the AFC South. They got the Denver Broncos. They're 2-2, and they're tied for second in their division, the AFC West. The all-time series is tied between both teams, and the Colts are 1-2 in Denver since 2014. So that's coming up on the Prime Network, Amazon Prime, that is, at 5:15. No more baseball. No more baseball.
Playoffs start tomorrow.
So we get a little side bet. Phillies and Cardinals.
Yeah, we can. Okay,
3-game series.
Sure.
Gift card.
All right.
Because then I have to go with you if I lose.
That's right.
3 minutes.
I'll have the gift card.
All right, I'll gift card.
All right, gift card for lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll have to do that. Coming up here tomorrow on television, Nebraska at Rutgers, and it's a real small line. I mean, it's like only a couple points. That's a tough one. You would think that you think about Nebraska, and you're going into Jersey, you're going to take on the Scarlet Knights. You're going to kick their ass, but that's not the case.
That was the Nebraska of old.
Yeah, 4 o'clock on FS1. Houston at Memphis. That's on at 4:30. ESPN2. Colorado State of Nevada. FS1 at 7, and then UNLV will be a late game at San Jose State on CBS Sports Network. We have Texas A&M at Alabama. That is on Saturday at 4:30, and of course we're the home of the National Football League. Chargers at Browns. The early game 9:30. We'll get things going here on Fox Sports 9:10. So we got that going. What's on tap is powered every day here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B by America's leading home selling program, 72 Sold. And how can you not know by now? You see it everywhere. 72 Sold. They're the easiest way to sell your home for top dollar. So for the easiest,
2 minutes,
fastest, most profitable way to sell your home, head to 72sold.com. Get a higher price for your home. Go to 72sold.com. If you look at some of the games, this week I think is average games in college football. I think next week is when it really, really kicks in. Penn State at Michigan, Alabama at Tennessee, Arkansas at BYU, Oklahoma State at TCU, LSU, Florida, Clemson, Florida State, USC, Utah. I mean, that's next week.
Oh, buddy.
So if you're trying to buy some time with your lady, or I should say, let's be politically correct, your significant other. This is the weekend you do something.
That's it.
You go to that movie, right? Then next week,
Sure.
know that it's your time.
Is
There's
this,
got some
is this
games.
Rock's man
Unless, of course,
vice?
they want to come with you.
Is Rock's man vice right
We
now?
haven't done that in a while.
We haven't.
We had to bring that back.
Rock and relationship talk.
Yeah, I'm so good at that. My track record is just amazing.
50 seconds.
Doing pretty good right now.
That's
but,
good,
know.
Rock.
Oh,
Keep it
that's
up.
good. I'm glad it's not Rocky.
Yeah, it's not. But anyway,
good.
so there you have it. Twin Peaks, don't forget, you still can do it. Right now, your chance to win that customized backyard patio set. Just text Peaks to 55678. That's Peaks to 55678. We do it every day. Standard message data rates apply.
30
You
seconds.
do it each and every day. Manuch, Jimmy, A+ effort today.
Thank you.
Jax, got to go C-. Yeah. Ben, A-. No, I'm sorry. C-.
Yeah.
When
Tried
you're
to sneak in his own
trying to sneak this
podcast.
little stupid podcast.
10 seconds.
That's a
Little
no-no.
TikTok thing.
What are we?
All right, we'll remember that.
Kids. Unbelievable. What are they doing?
Push-up, sit-ups coming.
Yes.
Good night.